massive noise and excitement in the Metrodome today as they get to see two 2-0 teams. The San Francisco 49ers are off to a great start. Their head coach says today will be a big test because they'll be meeting up with a Vikings team led by Brett Favre and the top running back in the NFL in Adrian Peterson. It's the NFL on Fox with the Minnesota Vikings meeting the San Francisco 49ers. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the NFL on Fox. I'm Sam Rosen along with Tim Ryan, and this game has all the storylines. Two 2-0 teams, two great running backs, and Brett Favre, a home opener in a Vikings uniform. Now, for San Francisco, a 2-0 start, the players say they're not surprised. They've worked for it, so it's not a big surprise, is it, Tim?
Well, I'm not surprised. I don't think, Sam, you're surprised after watching the game film. I mean, these guys are playing hard. They're playing physical. One thing I do like is they got the running game cranked up last week, but where I've been most impressed is the consistency of the defense. You look at them from the front end to the back end, they're really keeping it simple. They're playing fast, they're flying around. Now, they'll be challenged today with Brett Favre in this offense because Brett Favre really completes the offense, in my mind, of the Minnesota Vikings. And with this being his first home game here in Minnesota, this atmosphere, absolutely electric. Now, the big thing, obviously, Brett may have to open it up, the passing game, a little more than he did in the first 2 weeks. If San Francisco defensively, Sam, can limit a phenomenal day by that running back, Adrian Peterson.
All right, we'll be back with a whole lot more after this from the Verizon Football Zone, a game that features the NFC's top two running backs.
60 minutes, man. They gonna steal it. Backs on three. 1, 2, 3, back.
You're watching Fox Sports in HD. Presented by DirecTV.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Back at the Metrodome and getting set for the Vikings and the 49ers. And joining us today on the sidelines is Nichelle Turner. Let's join her right now. Nichelle.
Hey, guys, you know what? So many storylines in this game. One of them about the quarterback who's not in purple anymore. I'm talking about Niners QB Shaun Hill. Yeah, he is coming back to the Metrodome for the first time since serving as the Vikings' #3 quarterback from 2002 to 2005. Now, his stats as a Viking, in 3 years, he had 2 kneel downs. But he comes back in here today, 9-3 as a starter for the Niners, and everyone says his game ain't pretty, but he gets it done. I asked him, he said, yeah, that's pretty much true. I'm just a grinder. Back to you.
Thanks, Nichelle. Nichelle will be busy on the sidelines today. Alan Rossum is deep as the 49ers will receive the opening kickoff. Ryan Longwell teeing it up. The Vikings home opener after winning on the road in Cleveland and last week in Detroit. 49ers opening up with wins over Arizona and Seattle. And we're underway in the Metrodome. Rossum from the 1. Trying to take it outside, got tripped up by Kenny Onatolu. The first-year man out of Nebraska, Omaha, has done a good job on special teams. There is Shaun Hill, who is 9-3 as a starting quarterback for the 49ers. His running back, Frank Gore, had a tremendous game last week, 207 yards, 2 runs of 79 and 80 yards. Vernon Davis playing well at tight end. Offensive line wasn't great against Arizona, much better last week against Seattle.
Well, not only was Frank Gore's performance outstanding, you mentioned it, but it really validated that offensive line and their play. This is going to be a great matchup at the line of scrimmage versus that front for Minnesota.
Moran Norris is the fullback. Vikings show blitz. Hill steps up, the ball's knocked out of his hands, and the 49ers recover. Jared Allen knocked it out. Joe Staley, the tackle, recovered it.
Well, here's Jared Allen just going to run a speed rush around the corner, Joe Staley, and then he's going to just reach out as Shaun Hill cocks the ball back. Jared just swipes at it. Pow! Knocks it out right there with the left hand. Unfortunately, Staley, for 2 weeks in a row now, Joe Staley has pounced on a fumble. Jared Allen, sack, forced fumble. That's sack number 2 of the year for Jared.
2nd and 17. The ball back to the 16-yard line. Arnaz battled in as a 3rd wide receiver for the 49ers out of the shotgun. Pressure again, and the pass incomplete. Ray Edwards busting in from the left defensive end spot. Strong rush. Here's the Vikings on defense. The front is big and strong. Tough to run against in the middle with Pat and Kevin Williams. Pressure from the outside from the defensive ends. Chad Greenway, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week last week. E.J. Henderson playing with a sore shoulder. And the secondary, excellent. Antoine Winfield, a great tackler at the corner. Griffin, a good cover corner. Ryan Robeson and Pat Williams in on the defensive line. Glenn Coffey is in the backfield for the 49ers. And a flag. Delay of game. Very, very loud, very noisy.
Delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
And this is an area, Sam, where they're going to have to handle the noise. I mean, obviously there was an issue there with communication offensively and the noise factor, and that's a big, big part of this game. You go to week 1, and they came out winners against Arizona, but they couldn't run the ball. The noise was a major factor with that offensive line being able to communicate with one another up front. We'll see how they deal with it today.
How do you best handle that noise, Tim?
Well, you got to get the plays in the huddle quick, and of course they're going to be working all day, Sam, on the silent snap count.
They've got to get to the 33 for a first down. 3 wide receivers in. 5 defensive backs for the Vikings, who drop back in coverage. Hill throws short outside. Josh Morgan is brought down. Short gain. Chad Greenway was there. Mediu Williams was there, combining on the tackle. And a great defensive series for the Minnesota Vikings.
The running team of the San Francisco 49ers, they come out, try to get a little fancy early. First play with a big pass. Jared Allen knocks it out. That put him in a hole. 3 plays, 3 passes for San Francisco.
Back deep is Darius Raynaud, who's been a good punt returner. Andy Lee off to a great start. Good high kick. Raynaud from the 38. Nice move. And then he's brought down. Good coverage by Scott McKillop. The rookie linebacker has been excellent on special teams.
Here's how the 49ers will handle the noise today. Watch David Boss, the left guard. He is going to let Eric Heitman, right there, the center, know when he's ready. Now watch, you're going to see Boss look. Okay, now come up, and then the ball will be snapped. A little different as they're using the left guard to be the communicator between the quarterback and the center.
Vikings start from their 41 with Brett Favre. Has not thrown an interception thus far in the first 2 games. No gain on the play. Adrian Peterson on the first carry for the Vikings. Offensive lineup. Brett Favre was 6-10 as a visiting quarterback here in the Dome with the Packers. Peterson leads the NFL in rushing. The wide receivers are good, and we'll see Percy Harvin, the rookie, as well. See a lot of 2 tight ends with Kleinsasser and Shanko. They have changed the offensive line a little bit. They've got the rookie Phil Loadholt at right tackle. Chester Taylor in the backfield for the Vikings on 2nd and 10. Favre swings it out to Taylor. It's behind him. There was good pressure from Justin Smith, who leads the 49ers in quarterback pressures. He's had 18 through 2 games. And he's been strong on this 3-4. Brea Franklin has been unheralded, but he has been outstanding for the 49ers in the first 2 games. Linebackers are excellent with Willis and Spikes in the middle. Pressure from the outside from Paris Harrelson. And at cornerback, Nate Clements has played very well. The safeties have played well. Deshaun Goldson with an interception last week. Percy Harvin, the rookie out of Florida, is in, with Chester Taylor still in the backfield. On 3rd down, Favre gets pressure and throws incomplete. The blitz from the outside, the safety, Michael Lewis, coming, put pressure on Favre. So that's a good defensive series for the 49ers.
And Brett has taken some hits now in the first couple of weeks, and it looks like it's continuing. They're going to bring some pressure up inside. They'll also bring, as you said, Michael Lewis. He comes on a late blitz, forces Brett to get it out quick, but really it was the press, in my opinion, the pressure and the push between those 2 backers that were blitzing right up the middle.
Alan Rossum returns both kickoffs and punts and is back at his 15. Chris Cluey, who's been working on hang time this season, gets this one away. Good high kick. Rossum looks up, looks around, takes it at the 9. Turns the corner, comes up the sideline, and is out of bounds after a good return at the 22-yard line. So, teams exchange punts, and the 49ers on offense when we come back.
Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on.
Back in the Metrodome, Vikings have been the top rush defense in the league 3 years in a row because of the Williams guys, Kevin and Pat in the middle.
They're phenomenal, and that's where it's going to start today. Huge challenge for San Francisco. If their run game's going to work, Sam, they got to get that wall, that Williams wall blocked.
Vikings show blitz. Frank Gore behind Moran Norris. It's about 3, maybe 4, up across the 25-yard line. Good blocking on the left side of the line. Joe Staley and David Boss.
And you see right there what Frank was able to do last week.
And that's a bad sign. He hurt his ankle late in the game, and he's limping off right away after his first carry. That's a bad sign.
That's not a good sign at all. And you saw right from that graphic, all of his big runs came right down the middle, right where the Williams boys sit in the center of that defense.
He's replaced by the rookie from Alabama, Glenn Coffey, third-round draft pick. In motion, Isaac Bruce. Here's Coffey behind David Boss. Turns the corner. Nice run. Ran into Chad Greenway. Very close to the first down marker. There's Frank Gore limping badly on that right ankle, which he rolled over after the big day he was having in the game last week against Seattle, and didn't finish the game last week. Did not practice full this week. There's Coffey. He's had a few carries already early in the season. 2 tight ends in. Short drop by Hill. Throwing, and it's incomplete. Intended for Isaac Bruce, well covered by Antoine Winfield on 3rd and 1. The 49ers pass.
Well, their bell cow is sitting over on the sidelines with an ankle injury. It's a good throw, really perfect man coverage. Shaun Hill sees Isaac Bruce, puts it right where it needs to be. It looked like Antoine Winfield just came around the backside with his right arm and had part of knocking that ball out. It was a terrific throw, though, by Shaun Hill.
Another 3 and out for the 49ers, 2 in a row to start the game. Andy Lee's punt is a low line drive. Raynaud watches it roll. The 49ers have it covered. That's Terrell Brown letting the ball roll to a stop at the 12-yard line. Good punt for the 49ers, who are missing their top running back. He's hurting.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. With just the right taste that's not too heavy, not too light, the difference is drinkability.
A lot of concern on the 49ers sideline with good reason. Frank Gore coming out with a sprained right ankle, re-injuring it. The medical staff checking him over and talking with him. Meanwhile, the Vikings start from the 12. Adrian Peterson is the running back. 3 wide receivers in. Percy Harvin motions. And it's Peterson. Upended as he gets to the 15-yard line. Harris Harrelson with the tackle.
You mentioned Abrea Franklin early. Watch him at nose tackle and watch him get penetration, which is going to force the cutback. That's the whole key. I mean, he goes through Sullivan. Now Adrian Peterson has to cut it back before he wants to. The 49ers defenders are right there. That's how you draw it up defensively if you're San Francisco. Abrea Franklin has played terrific.
Big change in the offensive line, and that'll be a big matchup. With John Sullivan, the second-year man out of Notre Dame at center. For years, it was Matt Burke. On second down, Favre throws quickly, and it's dropped. Intended for the tight end, Vicente Shenko. So a sluggish start for Brett Favre thus far.
Well, they've had a sluggish start to start the season. I mean, the first 2 games, this team has started slow, and they've had to come from behind in the second half of both of those games to get the W. I'll tell you this, being at practice on Friday, Brett Favre has still got a lot of juice in that right arm. The velocity and watching him throw the football, clearly there is no problem with him releasing that thing with heat.
Chester Taylor in the backfield. He was amazing, the guys on the sideline with the zip he had. 3 wide receivers on 3rd and 7. Favre being pressured, fakes, looks, and throws dropped off the hands of Vicente Shenko. There's a flag on the play. Looks like a holding call against the 49ers. And that'll be an automatic first down. Jerome Boger is our referee, his 6th year.
holding, defense, number 32. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And Michael Lewis upset with the call.
There it is right there. Well, that's why it was a hold, because there was no contact. Once the ball was in the air, there was no contact. That's why it was called defensive holding. The contact came before Brett released the ball. You can see as good evidence right there that Brett can still throw that rock.
From the 20. In motion, Adrian Peterson. Favre under pressure, dumped it off and completed it to Chester Taylor. So they had Taylor and Peterson in the backfield, and they get 10 yards for a first down. Let's find out what's happening with Frank Gore and go down to the sideline to Nichelle Turner.
Well, guys, the official word is that it is his right ankle and that his return is questionable. But you just saw him going off the field on the cart. And I have to tell you, he was testing that ankle on the sideline, walking very gingerly. And the look on his face was not one of happiness. Back to you.
I would agree with you, Nichelle. I think he's done for the day. In motion, Vicente Shenko. Fullback, who's talking in. Peterson cuts it outside. He's got room. The race is on. Goldson trying to catch him. Takes him out of bounds. Adrian Peterson, the leading running back in the NFL, busts one for 35 yards.
Great example of his vision. It all starts here on the ISO, and he brings it all the way back. The isolation play, fullback isolated on the linebacker. There's nothing there. Adrian Peterson puts that left cleat in the turf, bounces it around the corner, and then he has too much juice for an edge defender to be able to chase him down. Took a DB to do it.
Chester Taylor in. First down at the 49ers 34. Taylor looking for an opening. And he wriggles his way down to the 30, picks up 4 on the play. Chester Taylor obviously overshadowed by the great Adrian Peterson, but he is a very valuable back.
And the 49er fans know him. I mean, if you go back when he was here, I believe his first year in Minnesota, either first or second, he had a big day versus the San Francisco 49ers. So he's really a terrific change of pace back and very, very good in the passing game as well.
Bernard Berrian and Sidney Rice are the wide receivers. Favre looking for Rice. He's got it for a touchdown. Perfect throw, 30-yard touchdown pass. Brett Favre's 4th touchdown pass of the season. And number 1 for Sidney Rice. Ryan Longwell for the extra point. It's good. That's the longest pass play of the season thus far for the Minnesota Vikings. Brett Favre, he loves the excitement of doing this. He celebrated many of those.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. For all your home improvement needs, Lowe's. Let's build something together. By Visa. Visa debit is easier than cash. More people go with Visa. And by Lexus and the first ever HS Hybrid.
For 16 years, Brett Favre would come to the Metrodome driving the Packers car. And this is what the Vikings fans thought of number 4. Well, guess what? They like him pretty much right now.
And this is what he's here for. I mean, he just sniffed out that blitz. That old dog can still hunt and delivered a perfect strike.
Lawson dropped the kickoff, gets it back, and the Vikings are all over him. Close to the 15-yard line. Right now, everything going right for Minnesota. Number 4 is wearing purple now, and he's thrown a touchdown pass. Well, Mike Singletary said to us yesterday he'll find out a lot about his team today. And right now they're down 7-0. The pressure on the offense, which has had back-to-back 3 outs.
He's had a chance today for his team to take a big step forward. So far in this game, it's been a big step backward.
Coffey and Norris in the backfield. Josh Morgan motions. Coffey carrying. Gets a couple of yards up to the 17-yard line. Picked up 3 on the play. Glenn Coffey slow getting up here as well. He was a third-round draft pick out of Alabama. Had a good career there, and now he looks like he's shaken up. Frank Gore already out of the game, and Glenn Coffey is hurting.
And their third running back would be Michael Robinson.
And the hit coming from the side on Coffey. And he's still down. Mike Singletary went out on the field to get his players around him with a concern for the injuries. Mike Rathman, the man in the red shirt, is the running backs coach, and he sent Michael Robinson in. The good news is Glenn Coffey went off the field under his own power. Shaun Hill gets rid of it to Moran Norris, the fullback. He's ridden out of bounds at the 23-yard line, a yard short of the first down.
Tell you what's interesting, in talking to the head coach Mike Singletary on yesterday, we said, Coach, what's your contingency plan if you can't run the ball against that defense? He said, there is no contingency plan. In other words, we have to run the football. He's going to find out how resilient his group is right now with Frank Gore out and Glenn Coffey back in, but certainly nicked.
3rd and 1. Coffey, stop, short of the line of scrimmage. What an effort in the middle. E.J. Henderson, the middle linebacker, busting through to stop Coffey. 3 and outs for the 49ers.
Here's E.J. Henderson right there. He's just going to fly through, just take the gap. He just blows it up. I mean, he reads that the whole way. Jared Allen does a real good job out on the edge to keep that gap open. And E.J. Henderson, who they said, is the best player on their defense. They missed him last year. He came up with a nice stop there on 3rd down.
Andy Lee, another good high punt. Raynard with a short signal, a quick signal for a fair catch. Andy Lee has had punts of 50, 57, and 54 yards. He's the best thing going for the 49ers right now. This is Adrian Peterson's 3rd year in the NFL. Worst game he's ever had, December of 2007 in San Francisco. 14 carries for 3 yards. He blames himself. He said he was misreading the blocks, wrong cuts, and he says he owes it to his offensive line to have a better game today.
You know what else he said is he watched that tape just this past week and said he has been waiting 2 years for this matchup against the 49ers defense.
He had a 35-yard run earlier. 3 carries, 39 yards. 2 tight ends in. Here's Peterson trying to bounce his way through. Takeo Spikes was there along with Manny Lawson to stop him after a short pickup. Boy, the Minnesota Vikings defense, are they playing well?
They're playing well, and they should feel good about themselves and what they've done. And San Francisco, clearly, I mean, not a lot of attempts, but hasn't been able to do anything at the line of scrimmage. And if you're Jared Allen with that big smile on your face, you start the game with a sack and a forced fumble, it's already a good day.
2nd and 8. 2 tight ends in. Sidney Rice motions. Peterson. Brett Favre likes this offense where he can hand it to Peterson. Let's check out what the Giants are doing in Tampa. Here's Kurt Menefee.
Well, a good start for the Giants in Tampa. Brandon Jacobs with the Giants' first rushing touchdown of the year puts them on top 7-0, and they're knocking on the door in the red zone again, up by a touchdown. Sam, Tim, and the show.
Thank you, Kurt. Tough start for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers under their new head coach, Raheem Morris. Dre Bly and Mark Roman in the secondary. Ray McDonald in at defensive end for the 49ers. Here's 3rd and 6. Chester Taylor in the backfield. Favre goes the other way, completes it to Percy Harvin. A first down. Harvin didn't practice much this week. He was ill. There was talk of migraine headaches. But this is a very versatile performer out of the University of Florida. He can run the ball, he can catch the ball, and he's a key return man.
And unlike most rookies, he's extremely versatile. I mean, you can hand it to him, you can put him in the slot, you can put him in motion, you can get him out wide. They've been very, very happy with him. First 2 games, 2 touchdowns touchdown in each game for Percy Harvin.
First down, Vikings at the 42-yard line. Peterson motions. on the wing. Everybody out. Favre outside quickly. And a completion to Bernard Berrien, but it's for a loss of 2 on the play.
And I will say this, I know it's been a slow start for Bernard Berrien. You know, he and Brett are still trying to find some timing together. Bernard missed a good portion of camp with a hamstring injury. And everybody wants to say, well, the guy was a 20 yards per catch receiver last year. What happened? Well, I think a couple of things. A, it's what I just talked about with his injury. And B, Brett's just running the offense. I will tell you this, though, before the year's out, you'll see Bernard Berrien. That number will go up.
Here's Peterson. Slowed down by Manny Lawson, gets back to the original line of scrimmage as Patrick Willis took him down.
And this is what I'm talking about. I mean, a lot has been said about Brett Favre in the underneath passing game. Look at just last week at Detroit and all the plays that were under 10 yards. See, 7 of 7, 8 of 11, only 2 passes beyond 10 yards from the line of scrimmage, had 8 for 8 behind the line of scrimmage. So I can just say this, Brett is simply running the offense, and he's going to continue to take what the defense gives him.
Had a career best 85.2% completion percentage last week, 23 of 27. On 3rd down and 10, the blitz on, the short pass to Harvin. Here he goes, 1st down Vikings. Nate Clements takes him down close to the 49ers 40-yard line, a pickup of 18.
Boy, what a great call by Brad Childress, Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator. Harvin is going to come all the way across. Here comes the blitz to Brett's right. Now look at Percy Harvin. He comes from the slot, the opposite side, crosses the field. That's just, again, a great play call, but a perfect read from the experienced eyes of Brett Favre, diagnosing where the blitz was coming from and then delivering the football.
And what Brett says is he likes the offense, familiar with the offense of Brad Childress, and Darrell Bevell was his quarterback's coach in Green Bay. Chester Taylor in the backfield. The toss on the end around to Harvin, brought down for a loss. Nice play by Ahmad Brooks. He's playing his first game of the season. He had his knee scoped in preseason. This is his first game.
There he is. Now watch him. He'll stay square to the line of scrimmage, and then when he sees it, he just blasts up the field. Great job there by keeping his shoulders square, but having the ability to just explode once he was able to diagnose that Percy Harvin was getting it on the end around.
Ahmad Brooks, who joined the 49ers last season as a waiver pickup from Cincinnati, didn't play much then, and then was injured in preseason. Mike Singletary likes him, likes his pass rush ability as well. Brett Favre turns around, calls a timeout.
First charge timeout.
It's 2nd and 18 for the Vikings. Let's go downstairs to Nichelle Turner along the sideline.
Yeah, you guys have been talking about Brett Favre and making the short throws and things like that, being a bit of a game manager. I don't think that's anything I ever thought I'd hear Brett Favre being called. But hey, you know what? He said, like we said, that he's just making sure they win games. But don't make any mistake about it. He does not like the term game manager. When we talked to him about it, he said, you know what? That really chaps my behind to hear that. And actually, I'm cleaning it up a little bit because you know we're a family show, guys.
Thanks, Michelle. And one thing that Brad Childress says is he wants Favre to keep that gunslinger mentality, but he wants him to play within the offense also.
Here's what Brett said. He could care less if he throws for 300-plus yards every game. It does not matter one bit. He wants to win. Yeah. That's what he's here for. And interesting that both of the big plays down the field have been Brett diagnosing blitz and then busting it with his arm.
3 wide receivers, Taylor in the backfield on 2nd and 18. The delay to Chester Taylor. There's not much there, and Deshaun Goldson came up and stuffed the run. No gain on the play, maybe half a yard. So the 49ers defense, which has played so very well and has been very good against the run. They got gashed earlier on that 88-yard drive when Adrian Peterson ripped one for 35 yards. 3rd down defense has been outstanding this season for the 49ers. 4 wide receivers are in. Greg Lewis has come on. Favre with time, throws short to Chester Taylor. And he's stopped as he crosses the 40-yard line, short of a 1st down. They give him forward progress to the 38. And the punting unit will come on for the Vikings. Chris Kluwe
You have to wonder if they're going to call off the dogs a little bit. Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, because a few times that they have turned up the pressure, they've gotten bit pretty good.
Second punt for Kluwe. Alan Rossum standing at his 10-yard line. Kluwe gets it way up in the air. Vikings are down to try and cover it. Rossum takes it at the 8-yard line. Hang time unofficially, 5.3 seconds. Excellent for Chris Kluwe. Coming up on Fox, we've got the best of postseason baseball. American League Championship Series begins October the 16th. Will it be the Yankees, the Red Sox as the wild card, the Angels, the Twins, and Tigers are battling for the American League Central? That'll be decided this week. The American League Championship Series on Fox, October 16th, followed by exclusive coverage of the World Series.
Big 4-game series this week between Detroit and Minnesota.
Yeah, in Detroit, begins tomorrow night. Fourth series for the 49ers. They start from the 8th. They've been 3 and out 3 times in a row. Glenn Coffey finds a hole, and he's brought down by Antoine Winfield. Let's check out what's happening in Detroit. Here's Kurt.
Well, the Lions stopped the Redskins on 4th and goal at the 1-yard line, then took it 99 yards, capped off by the Matthew Stafford to Bryant Johnson touchdown, and they have a lead. Do the Lions 7-0 that one in the first quarter. Sam and Tim.
Thanks, Kurt. They started well against the Vikings last week, and again, the Redskins can't get the ball in the end zone, Tim. That's been a problem for them. Here's Shaun Hill back on second down, hit. His arm was hit. It's up for grabs, and it falls incomplete. Kevin Williams, with a big-time pressure, hit the arm of Shaun Hill.
Kevin Williams leads this team in pressures, and here he is. He's just going to go through Chilo Rachel right here. Just gets to his edge. Rachel has no chance, and Sean A wanted to get rid of it before he wanted to, and then B couldn't get velocity on it as he was getting hit. That was Kevin Williams was reaching up with his right arm. This guy is an elite tackle, defensive tackle in pro football, and arguably the best right now.
Shaun Hill 2 for 5 for 7 yards. 3rd and 5. Everybody out. Short to Coffey, juggles it, it drops incomplete. 4 possessions for the 49ers. They have yet to get a first down. And that's got to concern the head man, Mike Singletary.
Yeah, Coffey's got to catch that. A really good read by Shaun Hill. Had a blitzer right in his face. Chad Greenway came untouched. Shaun clever enough to see it, diagnose it, get rid of the ball, and Coffey couldn't hang on to it before he got blasted.
4th punt of the game for Andy Lee from the goal line. Good kick. Darius Reynaud at the 34. Room to return, cuts it back, and he slips a tackle, ridden out of bounds at the San Francisco 34-yard line. Good return by Darius Reynaud. 53-yard punt, 33-yard return. The Vikings off to a good start. They lead the 49ers 7-0 into the first quarter. Welcome back to the Metrodome, where Mike Singletary talks to his running back, Glenn Coffey, who dropped the pass. It would have been a first down. 49ers haven't had a first down. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Michelle Turner, glad you're with us. X-rays on Frank Gore's right ankle, negative, doubtful to return. He hurt himself on his first carry of the game. Vikings from the 49ers 34. Complete to Jim Kleinsasser, the tight end. He dropped, the ball popped loose. Are they ruling it incomplete? Yes, incomplete.
Watch the pressure in the face of Brett Favre. He's making his read. He went to his first read, now right to his second, and he's just looking through the trees. His experience, and guy's made a lot of money in 19 years. He's had a lot of success, the Super Bowl ring, everything. He wants more wins and says it feels so much better and feels right this year in Minnesota versus last year in New York with the Jets.
It hit his last 6 passes before that incompletion. The fake to Chester Taylor, Favre with time, and he had a wide open Percy Harvin and overthrew him. That one's on Brett. Not a good throw. Bring up a 3rd and 10.
They better get a body on this guy because he's going to go across the formation and in the zone behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. Nobody close to him. That ball looked like it just came out early. It looks like Brett was so excited. He was so open. The ball comes out early, and when they come out early, they sail high on it.
Vikings with great field position after a 32-yard punt return by Darius Raynon. Chester Taylor in the backfield with 3 wide receivers on 3rd and 10. Blitz coming. It's picked up. Short throw to Taylor. Had to wait for it. He's pulled down from behind, but has the first down at the San Francisco 23-yard line. Patrick Willis took him down.
Maybe the best hard count in the game. Even his own teammates say that. One thing that they've been most impressed with, all the other stuff's great, but his hard count, as they said, is phenomenal. Trying to get the defense to jump off sides.
3 wide receivers. Actually, 2 tight ends. They split Shanko to the right side. Now Harvin comes around, and the pass on the slant is behind Bernard Berrien.
You can just tell that there's something missing in terms of the you to me factor with Favre to Berrien. So far in this game, hasn't been on the same page with the receiver. And again, you need to practice. With all due respect to professional guys and athletes, and they're all good, especially with the synchronicity of the passing game, you got to practice, you got to work together to get the timing down.
Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator. His team trying to hold the Vikings to just 3 at most. That was Peterson stopped. 1-yard gain. Michael Lewis, the safety, is there.
Here's what Favre's done. He's beat the blitz early. Percy Harvin right here crossing the formation. Here's the last check down to the running back, and then the touchdown to Sidney Rice in the first quarter. Saw the blitz coming from his right side as Michael Lewis was coming on a strong safety blitz, and Sidney Rice split Patrick Willis in the corner, and Brett found him immediately and threw a perfect football.
3rd and 9. Taylor in the backfield as Favre works out of the shotgun. Percy Harvin in as a 3rd wide receiver is in motion. 5 defensive backs for the 49ers. The fake handoff, the pass batted down. Paris Harrelson went up and smacked that ball down right back at Brett Favre. Good defensive series there for the 49ers.
Trying to run a little rocket screen out to the right, a little smoke screen. Loadholt's going to bail out right there to try to get in the block, which leads on today. Paris Harrelson against the rookie right tackle Phil Loadholt.
Ryan Longwell will attempt a 40-yard field goal. He's 4 for 4 this season. Chris Cluey, the holder. And the kick is inside the upright. Longwell 5 for 5 on the season. The Vikings cash in after a good punt return and lead it 10-0.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by State Farm. To us, nothing's more important than being there. By Pfizer. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
118 consecutive sellouts in the Metrodome. The Vikings, everything going right. This are the key coverage performers. Heath Farwell, after missing last season, they missed him badly. He was great in 2007, led in special teams tackles. He's back. Kenny Onatolu has played very well, and Eric Frampton, the safety.
Always pulling for Frampton. He went to my high school, went to my alma mater.
Oh, nice. Russell from the 3. Finds a lane. Gets outside. Outstanding return as he's brought down from behind across the 40-yard line. Alan Rossum with a 40-yard return. There's Heath Farwell coming down.
Yeah, well, when you have a reputation as a special teams guru, you're going to get a lot of attention. There's 1, there's 2. Now he's going to peel back, and Ulbricht's going to try to get him again. Well, they'll put their best blocker on special teams, Jeff Ulbricht, on the best cover guy for Minnesota, and Heath Farwell.
That's the first name that comes to mind when you ask special teams coordinators, who do you need to get blocked? And they immediately say Heath Farwell.
Well, and they missed him last year. You know all the returns they gave up in the special teams coverage units. Farwell was not out there.
Best field position of the day for the 49ers in their 5th possession of the game. Coffey and Norris in the backfield. Morgan motions. Here's Glenn Coffey bursting through the hole. Good run. 9-yard pickup into Vikings territory down to the 48. Well, weekdays, make lunchtime your new prime time. FoxSports.com brings you lunch with benefits. Log on, great shows. Monday, normally it's Jay Glazer, but tomorrow's the Jewish holiday, and the guest host will be Jared Allen of the Vikings.
Hold on a minute. The Psycho is going to be doing the show on Monday?
The after party. He'll be there.
After party, all right.
Tuesday, Brian Billick, Coach Speak, and Wednesday, special live chat with Troy Aikman. And there is the man getting ready to talk about it. Jared Allen makes the tackle for a loss on Glenn Coffey.
You can host any show you want. There's Jared Allen right there if you do this. He just goes right by Joe Staley in the backfield. Another tackle for loss for Jared. Here's what I'm amazed. He's 256 pounds.
Yeah.
He is so lean and so quick.
That's the key. He's so quick off the ball, Tim.
His hips are his key. I mean, he can turn the corner and burst as good as anybody in the game.
Third down, a lot of noise in the dome. Flag on the play. Was it delay? Yes, delay of the game. And again,
noise issue.
Hill trying to get
pointing to the game clock down in the end zone saying, hey, the play clock wasn't expired.
Delay of game. Defense. Number 23. Making an unnatural act, trying to get the offensive player to false start. 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
That's something you rarely see.
Let's pause here. He's going to let Eric Heitman know.
So that gives the 49ers a first down. Their first down of the game at the Vikings 45. Coffey stuffed. That run defense is so tough. Pat Williams with a finish, but it started with Ben Lieber standing up the running back, Glenn Coffey.
And it also started on the front side with this guy, Jared Allen. Look at all the bodies across the front. I mean, they are stacking it up at the line of scrimmage. Joe Staley, he pushes Joe 2 yards into the backfield, does not give the edge to Coffey. Then the defenders can come down the line of scrimmage in pursuit. I'll tell you what they're doing. They're manning up the receivers. They're loading the box with defenders, and they're saying, we dare you to try to run the football on us, and San Francisco hasn't been able to do it.
Two tight ends in 2nd and 12. Off the play fake, Hill throwing and broke it up. Antoine Winfield stepped in front of Isaac Bruce to bat it away.
Watch the close here from Antoine Winfield. He's going to bend and then burst right there to the football. The ball comes out late. Isaac Bruce has no chance to corral that for a couple of reasons. The ball was delivered late, and then Antoine Winfield is such a complete corner. People talk about his run defense and that ability. So underrated in terms of how he defends the pass, and we saw a good example of it there.
3rd and 12. 3 wide receivers for the 49ers. Arnaz battle in it's the 3rd. Hill pressured, throws, completes to Vernon Davis, the tight end. He's taken down short of the first down. Forward progress to the 36. He's a yard short. E.J. Henderson stepped up on the tight end. Maryland guys, both of them, Vernon Davis and E.J. Henderson.
Mike Singletary looks like he's going to go for it. He's made the decision that we need to assert our will on theirs. This is our best drive. Now, Joe Nedney did tell me in pregame, the kicker, he can go from 57.
Hill went to the sideline to get the call and brings it in. Play clock at 5. And a timeout for the 49ers. Vikings with a 10-0 lead. Big play coming for the 49ers, trying to get something going.
The defense has just suffocated San Francisco today. No first downs. Now San Francisco shorthanded without Frank Gore. Clearly, this defense has been dominating early in this first half if you're the Minnesota Vikings.
49ers, 4th and 1. Hill to put it up. Flag on the play. It's caught by Josh Morgan. Morgan out of bounds, close to the 10-yard line. They check out the flag on the far sideline, just across the first down marker. 25-yard gain on the play. It's going to be against the Vikings, and a big first down for San Francisco. Josh Morgan did not catch a ball last week, but his blocking was superb for Frank Gore. The week before in Arizona, he had a good game.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Offside, defense, number 91, line up in the neutral zone. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, blow to the head of the quarterback. Defense, number 56, half the distance to the goal line, automatic, first down.
They were teammates in college, E.J. Henderson and Shaun Hill.
Yeah, watch Coffey step up and get the blitz pickup on E.J. Henderson. That was the key to the play. Now E.J.'s going to push him back. That looks like a bad call right there.
Boy.
That is a bad call right there.
Referee threw the flag. Yeah, it's kind of a weak call. Very.
Looked like maybe his left hand brushed the face mask of Shaun Hill, but that's become discretionary for the referee and whether he wants to call that or not.
First and goal, 49ers at the 6-yard line. Norris and Coffey in the backfield. There's no Frank Gore. He's out with an ankle injury. Hill, deep in the end zone. Vernon Davis, touchdown. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch, and the 49ers needed that badly. They're back in the game. Officially a 5-yard touchdown pass from Shaun Hill to Vernon Davis, and Mike Singletary says that's the way to do it, boys. Shaun Hill's pretty resilient, pretty strong mentally and emotionally.
The guy's got thick skin. He's taken a long road to pro football, and it's been paying off, and he's finally gotten his opportunity.
Joe Nedney's extra point is good. And now, after the Vikings had dominated, the 49ers find some life. Shaun Hill hits Vernon Davis. It's 10-7 Minnesota.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Sprint. This is the NFL Now with NFL Mobile Live, only from Sprint, the Now Network, official wireless service sponsor of the NFL.
O-line was big on that drive for the 49ers, and Mike Singletary shaking hands with all his players as they come off the field. After a 5-play, 57-yard drive, puts the 49ers on the board. Joe Nedney will kick it off. Percy Harvin is deep, and he has been close to breaking one in the first 2 games. He had a 41-yarder. Here's Harvin from the 1. Good speed. Trying to get outside, stumbled a couple of times. Cuts it back. And took a hard hit as he falls down at the 30-yard line. 29-yard return next week. A big Fox NFL doubleheader. Game 1, Giants at Kansas City, Lions and the Bears, Seattle and Indy. Game 2, Dallas and Broncos. The Rams take on the 49ers, and it all starts with the Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show starting at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. The Vikings will play Green Bay on Monday night. On first down, Adrian Peterson, a couple of yards, straight ahead. Adrian Peterson with 7 carries in the game as the Vikings look for balance.
And they told us that. I mean, Brett Favre said out of all the games, this is the one because of San Francisco on defense so far this season where they're going to have to be balanced, which means more attacking through the air.
Dre Bly and Mark Roman come in the secondary for the 49ers. The blitz on, they go the other way to Peterson. And again, he picks up a couple of yards on the play. Tim, he's been compared to a lot of star backs. Who would you compare him to here?
He runs angry like Walter Payton, the late, great Walter Payton. There's no question as you see the violence from Adrian Peterson there. And then so elusive. I mean, we all remember Barry Sanders. I played against him. The guy was terrific. And you see Adrian Peterson's got that ability in the open field and then the red-hot jet speed. I mean, when you think of Eric Dickerson, the Hall of Famer, you think, when that guy gets in the open field, there was never anybody catching him. Adrian Peterson possesses those same skill sets.
And we saw him with the same loping stride as Gale Sayers. Here's third down. Favre being rushed and he's down. 8th time he's been sacked this season. The blitz from Mark Roman, the safety. That's a cause for concern for the Vikings. Favre has taken some hits early in the season.
Well, he's been sacked once every 7 throws. That's not good. And here is Roman. He's just going to go around the corner. Chester Taylor late coming over to get on him. He sees it too late. He's looking inside out. By the time he peels his eyes back to the outside, Roman is already on the quarterback, Brett Favre. Nice to see Mark Roman the last couple of weeks getting back in the lineup, not as a starter, but as a reserve and making some plays.
Goldson took over as the starter, but Roman has handled it well, and they use him well as an extra defensive back in passing situations. Flags go down as the Vikings were set to punt. Brett Favre checking out. They kind of limped off a little bit after that hit.
False start, offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Anthony Herrera, the right guard, called for the false start. Boy, Brett has been amazing. This is his 272nd consecutive start with all kinds of hurts. He's been able to play through them.
And don't forget about the 20 or 21 playoff matchups as well.
3rd punt of the game for Chris Kluwe. Stepping up is Allen Rossum. Takes it at the 37. And he's brought down on a good tackle on the play. That was the rookie, Jasper Brinkley, that took him down. 43-yard punt. Brett Favre took a big hit. Last week, Brett Favre set the record for most consecutive starts. He broke the record once held by Jim Marshall, the great Minnesota Vikings defensive end. They met at practice on Friday, and Jim said, I have such great respect for Brett Favre because as a defensive end, I try to kill quarterbacks. And then today, it was Jim Marshall blowing the Gallahorn
I saw him
to start the game.
Favre in practice the other day. I think he still wants to hit a quarterback.
You're right, he's 70 years old. On 1st down, on the toss, Coffee is stopped by Ben Lieber, short of the line of scrimmage. Tough to run against these Vikings, whether it's the line play or the linebackers coming up. They've got a great front 7.
Or if you got a rookie running back in there in Glenn Coffee, because Lieber was actually cracked on that play, a crackback block by Josh Morgan to seal the edge, and Coffee didn't read it right and ran right into the arms of Ben Lieber.
Loss of 2 on the play. 2 defensive ends, Vernon Davis and Delaney Walker. And Walker splits wide left. 5 defensive backs in for the Vikings. Benny Sapp is in. Hill gets time. Puts it up deep. Trying to go for Delaney. Walker's intercepted. Intercepted by Cedric Griffin. He overthrew Delaney Walker, who stumbled a little bit downfield, and Griffin was right there to make the grab.
Well, you got to put this one on the receiver, Delaney Walker, as he stumbles right there. It looked like he was starting to give up on the route and then just tripped a little bit. And Shaun Hill gets intercepted.
First interception he's thrown this season.
Look, that's the right read. I mean, you got single coverage out on the island. You got a corner against a bigger tight end / receiver in Delaney Walker, and Mike Singletary not happy at all that he cut that off. Look at that. He is just drilling him.
Boy, he gets in players' faces right away. He wastes no time.
Well, you can't cut that route short and it ends up being picked. That's a big time momentum changer.
Vikings from their 27. Favre back in, no problem. Throws to Sidney Rice, and he's brought down. Short gain to the 30. Late flag as Favre was taken down.
And they're going to get a late hit on one of the defenders for the 49ers. I think Justin Smith.
Unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 94. Low blow to the quarterback. 15-yard penalty after the end of the run. 1st down.
Justin Smith very upset with the call.
There he is at right end. He's had some pretty good push in this game on Hutch. There's the bull rush. Oh, that's a horrible call. That is a horrible call. That's not forcible contact to me. That's more of swiping at the lower body. Now, it did look like it was more difficult for the referee who's standing on the backside of Brett Favre to see exactly what the intention was of Justin Smith there.
But starting with a Brady injury at the start of last season, they've really put emphasis. You're right. Referees have really cracked down on that.
I just don't know if he could have avoided forcible contact right there as Hutch was pushing him.
From the 45, a first down. Off the play fake, Favre with time. Looking for Berrien, he's dropped it. That time, they were in sync, and Bernard Berrien dropped it. Favre put it in there perfectly.
It's a perfect throw from Brett Favre. Bernard Berrien just can't hang on to it. Hits him on the fingertips, but one that he should have caught. And I think you can see that despite what everybody's been writing about and talking about with Brett Favre and the deep ball, there's nothing wrong with Brett Favre's deep ball. That was a perfect throw.
Favre 8 for 16, 94 yards, 1 touchdown in the game. Vikings with a 10-7 lead. Tahi in at fullback. Peterson straight ahead, and he's stopped. Big hit by Takio's spikes. Right at the line of scrimmage. Takio's spikes has really settled in as one of the leaders on this team. He's taken hold of the Singletary mantra, and he and Patrick Willis have worked very, very closely together, the veteran and the young rising star.
What did Takio tell us yesterday? I feel a big one coming on. He's played really well for a guy in year 12, still moving around quick. He's logged a lot of starts in the Sunday afternoon league.
Chester Taylor in the backfield, 3 wide receivers on 3rd and 10. Flag on the play. Favre steps up, fires, and it's dropped by Bernard Berrien. Good coverage by Shaun Spencer. And a late flag downfield. The flag at behind the line of scrimmage looks like a false start on the Vikings, but are they calling Shaun Spencer? And Mike Singletary out on the field where he shouldn't be to talk to the officials.
You go tell the Samurai he shouldn't be out on the field, Sam.
Illegal formation, offense, number 71. Not line up on the line of scrimmage. By rule, that penalty decline. Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, defense, number 36, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Here's the end of the play. Shaun Spencer comes and hits the ball, knocks it out right there on Bernard Berrien. Where's the taunt? Where's the taunt?
That's one again.
If you stand over the top of a guy and you're right down in his grill, or you're turned around and in your face and you're not letting up, I can understand that. But from what we saw there, that's a tough call on Shaun Spencer.
And Mike Singletary letting the official know.
Yeah, he's frustrated.
First down at the 40-yard line of San Francisco. A couple of penalties have hurt the 49ers. Favre, short drop, wanted to go deep. Checks down to Adrian Peterson, is spun out of bounds by Patrick Willis. In 2007, they were the rookies of the year, offense and defense. As they meet up in the NFC, Patrick Willis.
It's been a nice counterpunch and really a cat and mouse game in this game by Minnesota offensively. They can see that San Francisco is putting a lot of guys up in the combat zone in the running box and really committed to stopping the run. So you see there, Brett Favre already 17 throws in this football game. They've taken to the air.
Chester Taylor in, 3 wide receivers. On second down, it's Taylor trying to cut it back, stumbled forward, and goes down to the 33-yard line. They'll bring up a 3rd and 3 for Minnesota. 49ers, who got off to a slow start offensively, didn't do anything their first 4 possessions of the game. Lost their star running back, Frank Gore, on his first carry, sprained ankle. And it's still a 3-point game. Favre works out of the shotgun with Chester Taylor in the backfield. Everybody out. Pass is almost intercepted. Nate Clements stepped in front of Percy Harvin and almost picked it off. Good play by Nate Clements.
Very good play by Nate Clements, who's having an outstanding year. It's man coverage all the way across the board. And he peels right off of his man and reads the quick throw to Percy Harvin, undercut it, but couldn't hang on to the football. You know, he's down about 10 pounds. When you see him, and he's clearly lost weight, and that being Nate Clements, it's really allowed him and helped him be a finisher. He's playing well this year.
Ryan Longwell will attempt a 52-yarder. Cullen Luffler, the long snapper. The holder, Chris Cluey. The kick is good. Ryan Longwell, his 8th career 50-yard field goal as a Minnesota Viking that ties the franchise record previously held solely by Fuad Revez. Longwell with a strong kick out of the hold of Chris Cluey and had yards to spare.
And a really good job blocking in the middle when you look at that line in the middle, because a lot of times with those long kicks, the trajectory is low. The ball comes out low so that the kicker can get maximum distance on it. San Francisco unable to get enough push to really have an impact trying to block that thing.
Mike Singletary really working the officials. Wow. I don't know what he's
and I think
upset
rightly
with
so.
there.
I mean, I think he's still upset about the Shante Spencer taunting call that happened right in front of their bench.
That gave him 15 yards.
You know what? You stay up here at halftime. I'm going to go hang in the 49er locker room and check it out.
You want to hear what he has to say? 21st career 50-yard field goal for Ryan Longwell. Vikings now lead 13-7. And Longwell will kick it off to Allen Rossum. Rossum backs up to the goal line. Sprints through the hole and runs out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Tonight on Fox, Animation Domination is all new, all night, with a series premiere of The Cleveland Show. The creator of Family Guy introduces a whole new family with some wild new friends. Don't miss the series premiere of The Cleveland Show tonight after the season premiere of The Simpsons on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised. From the 30, each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Josh Morgan motions. Hill gets it away quickly to Morgan, who came back across the field and is out of bounds at the 43-yard line. He's got a first down.
Listen to this hit from Vernon Davis right here. Oh, my goodness, Cedric Griffin, ear hole. What a pleasure it was to talk to Vernon Davis yesterday.
He's a change. It seems like a different guy.
He is, and as Mike Singletary said, he's the most misunderstood player on the team. Vernon said, you know what? I used to think it was all about me. Not anymore. Clearly, as he said, it's all about this team. Had a big slice of that humble pie.
And that's what Mike Singletary preaches. Team first. Hill throwing deep for Davis. And it's incomplete. He just didn't hold on. Good effort, double coverage on the play. And the pass going incomplete. Let's go down to Nichelle Turner for more on Vernon Davis. Nichelle.
Hey guys, that was another big hit right here in front of me involving Vernon Davis. Now what he said, yes, he thought it was all about him for the longest time. It was really interesting to hear him say he didn't come in with a team first mentality, but he says he sees the big picture now, and you know who he credits with helping him see the light? Coach Mike Singletary. He believes in him. Back to you.
Thank you, Nichelle. 2nd and 10, Morgan motions. Glenn Coffey, no hole there. The big guys in the middle, Pat and Kevin. And add Jared Allen to that. Actually, Kevin was outside, so it was Jared Allen and Pat Williams.
If you're going to run the quick little counter game, you've got to be able to block back on Pat Williams and get him moved. Watch Eric Heitman here, no chance. I mean, that's an immovable fire hydrant right there in Pat Williams. And if you're going to run in the interior of that defense, where San Francisco is best with their attack and running the football, you've got to get Pat Williams blocked. They haven't been able to do it.
Coffey splits out wide left, empty backfield on 3rd and 9. The blitz on, the quick release overthrows Isaac Bruce. Vikings were coming from the outside and came in unblocked, and Hill had to get rid of it. Chad Greenway firing in from the left side.
Shaun Hill typically, this year at least in the first 2 games, has been real good in terms of his third down play.
Not today,
so far
though.
Today it hasn't been good. A lot of credit to that Vikings defense. Right now, San Francisco 0 for on third down, 0 for 6.
Andy Lee, good high punt. Darius Raynaud lets it bounce in the end zone. It's a touchback. Vikings defense stiffens. Vikings lead by 6.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by AT&T. Your world delivered.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Vikings defense has been outstanding. E.J. Henderson leading in tackles. Quarterback pressure was sacked for Jared Allen, and Cedric Griffin with an interception. Vikings start from the 20 with Chester Taylor in the backfield. Adrian Peterson, 10 carries, 50 yards in the first half. Slipping away was Taylor, gets a short gain. Good job by Ray McDonald up front to slow him down. And the Vikings go no huddle. There's Brett Favre. Calls the play out. Favre drops it off short to Taylor, cuts it back, and again a short pickup up to the 22-yard line. Clock running. Vikings have 2 timeouts remaining. They spotted back at the 21, so there's no gain on the play. 3rd and 9.
Other than the big pop, the 35-yarder by Adrian Peterson, and you'll always factor that in, obviously, at the end of the day when you look at the numbers, but San Francisco has been stingy at defending the run, besides the big play.
49ers use a timeout on a 3rd down play, knowing there's a chance they could get the ball back. They called a timeout. There's Adrian Peterson. Broke 1. Mike Singletary looks like he's calmed down now. Boy. He gets his heart rate going, doesn't he? He's been in his players' faces. He's been in the faces of the officials. He is an intense man. Fox tomorrow, a twitch, a blink, a tick. Most people don't even notice them, but to Dr. Cal Lightman, they tell him everything. They're the world's foremost authorities in deception detection. They've perfected the science of solving crimes. Don't miss the Lie to Me season premiere. After an all-new house tomorrow at 9, 8 Central on Fox. 3rd and 9. Pressure from the outside. Favre steps up. Completes to Taylor. Turns it into a big gainer to midfield. Willis chased him down. Favre kept the play alive as he stepped up in the pocket. And the Vikings call timeout.
If they can diagnose man coverage, which they do, there's Willis. He's manned up on Chester Taylor. You can't win. Chester Taylor, and it reminds me of what Brian Westbrook did for so many years and has done for so many years in Philly. And, of course, Brad Childress coming from there. They use Chester Taylor the same way. Brett got to the line of scrimmage, read man coverage, knew that he had an option route with his running back against their linebacker and took advantage of it.
In his younger days, Brett Favre might have taken off. There was room on the side, but he doesn't trust his legs to keep plays alive the way he used to now. But he's got a safety valve like Taylor, and he dropped it off to him for a 30-yard gain.
Probably the only place where Father Time has caught up to Brett Favre is in his legs.
He's going to be 40 years old in a couple of weeks. Adrian Peterson back in. Taylor has caught 5 passes for 62 yards. At the San Francisco 49-yard line. Peterson picks up the blitz. Another blitzer there. Almost intercepted by Greg Wide. The pass was incomplete. Intended for Vicente Shenko.
Watch Michael Lewis. He's going to come flying in from here, number 32. You'll see him flash into your screen right there and just going to deliver a shot on Brett Favre just as he released it. They've gotten to Brett Favre today in terms of hitting him as he's just releasing the football. And believe me, by the time the 4th quarter gets around, even though you don't have a lot of sacks, those hits start to mount up on the quarterback.
51 seconds to go in the half. Peterson back in, 3 wide receivers. 2nd and 10. Peterson Turns the corner. Down the sideline, out of bounds at the 40-yard line. A yard short of the first down.
Look at his vision. This is not where this play is supposed to go. It's supposed to go a little more up inside. He makes a great read that Ahmad Brooks got trapped inside, so he bounced it out and then got a terrific block. That's one thing that nobody talks about. These receivers, Sidney Rice, big receiver, they all do a terrific job of blocking down the field to give those extra yards to the running back.
49ers changed 5 people on the defensive side. It's 3rd and 1 for Minnesota. Shenko motions. Favre pump fake, throwing short to Shenko. First down at the 30. The tight end coming across the field. Takeo Spikes picked him up. Favre signaling. 30 seconds to go. They have 1 timeout remaining. And he spikes it to stop the clock with 26 seconds. They're in field goal range for Ryan Longwell.
This is what Minnesota's been missing at the quarterback position in Brett Favre. And not only what we've seen with him diagnosing the blitz and then breaking it down with some big plays down the field, just look at how he's operating this 2-minute drill. And it took him a little over a minute to go all the way deep down and now approaching the red zone.
He's 12 for 22 thus far. He's never in his career started a season with 3 games without an interception. He has not thrown an interception thus far. Chester Taylor in the backfield. 2nd and 10. Short drop, and that one almost picked off as he overthrew Sidney Rice. Goldson running it back as if he picked it off, but they blew the whistle.
If they need to review it, it'll go right upstairs. Shante Spencer he's calling it out like, I got this. It didn't hit the ground. Let's see what happens.
And
it's right there. There it is.
And Deshaun Goldson picked it up and started to run it back. But it's an incomplete pass.
You mentioned Favre hasn't thrown any picks. There's been 3 or 4 defenders that have had their hands on the football for San Francisco but haven't been able to hang on.
3rd and 10.
On! Baseline 2! Baseline 2! Move 58! Move for Jesus!
Everybody out. Favre fires, completes to Sidney Rice, out of bounds at the 16. That's a good throw.
That's a good read by the quarterback. They were in quarters coverage, San Francisco, which means you got 4 deep defenders. And then you got your nickel guy that's playing the hook to flat and could not get out there to Sidney Rice. Brett diagnosed it right away and delivered an easy football out there for the first down.
Picked up 14 on the play, 19 seconds to go in the half, 1 timeout remaining, and a chance to put it in the end zone.
Favre is on his game from the neck up. They can't do anything to him defensively that has confused him.
He's as good as there is running the 2-minute drill. Everybody out. Throws short to the fullback, Tahi is brought down at the 12. There's a flag down, 2 flags down in the Minnesota backfield.
Going to be holding.
Holding, offense, number 64, 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Anthony Herrera, the right guard. So maybe one more shot in the end zone before a field goal try.
Watch Abrea Franklin. Just tosses Anthony Herrera, and then Herrera's got to hold on to him before the nose tackle Franklin could get to the quarterback.
Franklin's been strong at nose tackle for San Francisco in that 3-4 defense that they employ. Peterson and Tahi in the backfield. Everybody out. Favre steps up, has time, he throws, incomplete. Intended for Sidney Rice. 6 seconds to go in the half. And the field goal kicking unit comes out. So the Vikings drove down the field. Went from there 20. Got as close as the 16-yard line. And now Ryan Longwell trying for his 3rd field goal of the game. This one will be from 44 yards out. Cullen Loeffler, the long snapper. And it's blocked. And it's picked up by the 49ers. is in for a touchdown. What a play. I believe Ray McDonald blocked it. Nate Clements picked it up, and the 49ers have a chance to take the lead.
Well, he just talked about guys in the middle with great protection. Not this time. Ray McDonald fires right through Phil Lodeholt, who's out there playing the left tackle position, blocks it, goes backwards. Clements gets it right off the bounce and takes it for 6. What a change in momentum for the San Francisco 49ers. Holy cow.
The crowd here is shocked, and when Mike Singletary says the visiting team controls the crowd noise, this is what he means. They have quieted the crowd, and the 49ers have the lead on the extra point by Joe Nedney, who now has 1,000 career points. The 49ers blocked field goal. They run it back for a touchdown. They lead it 14-13 at halftime. The Visa halftime report is next. After trailing 10-0, the 49ers have a 14-13 lead heading for the third quarter. Superstars including Joe Theismann, Jim McMahon, Eric Dickerson, Jim Rice, and more join long-distance driving champions to see who can crush the longest ball in the finals of the Big Shots Titans at the Tee right after today's NFL coverage. Tim Ryan will challenge them all. We're coming back for the start of the third quarter here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis right after these messages.
Game day. Visa debit is easier than cash. More people go with Visa.
Mike Singletary preaches being relentless, and the 49ers, despite a bad start and Minnesota leading and playing strong early, the resiliency of the 49ers gives them a lead at halftime.
Sam, you can't break them. The adversity cannot break the San Francisco 49ers. They come out in the first quarter, can't do anything offensively. They lose Frank Gore very, very early in the game to his ankle injury. See him limping off there. They bring Coffee back in, or bring Coffee in. He gets nicked. Shaun Hill throws an interception there as Delaney Walker quit on it. But Vernon Davis in the end zone for a big touchdown. They completed a big one on 4th down, and then, of course, the block there by Ray McDonald. And somehow, some way, the 49ers, being outplayed in the first half, go in with the lead, 14-13.
Take a look at some of the first half numbers. Yardage, 201 yards for Minnesota. 74 total yards offensively for San Francisco.
Look at the third down stuff, right? Brett, up over 50%. San Francisco 0 for 6 on the money down. But Shaun Hill, when he's had to, the running game hasn't gotten cranked up, has certainly made a couple of big plays with his arm in the first half.
Joe Nedney kicks off to start the third quarter. And it's brought back by Percy Harvin. With good speed, he bursts through, gets upended, and falls forward to the 28-yard line. Delaney Walker in on the tackle for San Francisco. Let's go to the sidelines and find out what Nichelle Turner found out at halftime. Nichelle.
Hey guys, pretty pointed reports from both coaches at halftime. First of all, Brad Childress said simply he told his team, get smarter and get tougher, quit dropping the ball, and let's get to it. Mike Singletary said he told his team at halftime simply, you got to win, and you guys got to know we got to fight, scratch, and kick for everything we've got. Frank Gore, guys, is going to be out for the rest of this game. Back to you.
Thanks, Nichelle. Vikings from the 28-yard line. Adrian Peterson gets up to the 30 and is taken down hard.
Well, the question coming in was, can Brett Favre get the ball deep? And you see here, he's attempted 5 past 10 yards and has completed 2 of them and had the one for the touchdown. So he's thrown some nice balls. There's been some drops from his receivers. Brett Favre, where he's been best in this game, though, to me, is really diagnosing what the defense is showing him. They've tried to heat him up with pressure, and he's been able to break that pressure down with big throws with his arm.
Chester Taylor in the backfield. 3 wide receivers for the Vikings on 2nd and 8.
Green 18! Green 18! On! Move 58!
One count by Favre. And flags go down. Delay of game.
Delay of game. Offense, number 4. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Green 18! Green 18! On!
so concerned about the hard count that he forgot to look at the play clock.
Sets the Vikings back to the 25. They've got to get to the 39 for a first down. Favre with flushed out a little bit. Pressure coming. Nobody open. And they've got him for the sack. The ball popped loose. The sack by Brea Franklin, but they were all around him, and Brett had nowhere to go.
This is a coverage sack for sure. There's coverage down the field. Did you see Nate Clements? He's going to show some press and then bail. Had some double coverage over there on Bernard Berrien. Shante Spencer gets Sidney Rice pushed to the sidelines. And Manny Lawson, real nice job there. They got Manny matched up on a running back, and he's the guy that with about second or third effort was able to spin around the backside, force Brett up, and then Brea Franklin was able to get him down.
Second sack of the game for the 49ers. 3rd and 23. Have to get to the 39. They hand off to Chester Taylor. And he's wrapped up by Deshaun Goldson, the safety. At the 24, fans unhappy with that offensive series. But a good job by the 49ers defense. A lot of good things, good coverage on the play.
This 49ers defense, and you go back to the summertime in training camp, they were outstanding. I was at the Raiders practice facility the day they were out there practicing against the Raiders, and they absolutely chewed them up. I'm not too surprised. This is a very good defense in San Francisco.
Louis with his 4th one. It's a short one. It's high. Let it bounce, and it takes a Minnesota bounce, and a big roll. A high short kick turns into a long punt for Chris Kluwe down to the 16, a 60-yard punt. Brea Franklin's had a good day, including a sack on Brett Favre.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com, grab your bag, it's on. By the newest $5 footlong. Try the spicy buffalo chicken footlong. Subway, eat fresh. And by GMC. Put us up against anyone and may the best truck win.
Back in the Metrodome as the 49ers go on offense from the 16-yard line. Shaun Hill 6 for 14, 61 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Glenn Coffey replacing the injured Frank Gore. Here's Coffey trying to bust through and lunges forward to the 19-yard line. Pickup of 3. E.J. Henderson, who's playing with a bad shoulder that he injured in the Detroit game.
And was a game-time decision in this one coming in. I mean, there was a chance that he wasn't even going to suit up and play today, and so far has been very solid and leading the defense in tackles.
Good linebacking core of Chad Greenway, E.J. Henderson, and Ben Lieber. There's Glenn Coffey getting a lot of action with Gore out. Moran Norris is the fullback. In motion, Josh Morgan. Blitz coming. Coffey running hard, gets up to the 24-yard line. Bring up a 3rd and 2. Pat Williams made the tackle for Minnesota. Now the Vikings have been a great second-half team the first 2 games of this season.
Watch the block by Vernon Davis. You got to be able to block defensive ends in this scheme if you're a tight end. And he does just enough. I mean, Ray Edwards played that pretty good, but Vernon does just enough to stay engaged with the defensive end, which really allowed Coffey to get to the outside and pick up some critical yards. And now they're in a very good 3rd and manageable.
Crowd urging on the Vikings defense. Coffey stopped short of the line of scrimmage. Jared Allen busted through enough, got a piece of Coffey to slow him down, and then the rest of the defense shut it down, led by Chad Greenway.
It's all about the penetration and the get-off. Watch Jared Allen and Kevin Williams. They're the first guys off the snap. They beat San Francisco to the point of attack. And when you're running a counter game in a game where you're pulling your offensive lineman, and it takes time and it takes patience and synchronicity, if you can penetrate as a defensive line, you've done your job. They did it there.
Andy Lee's 6th punt of the game. Darius Reynaud comes up to take it on the run at the 30 and got tripped up as he got to the 40-yard line. Looked like Paris Harrelson made the tackle. 46-yard punt, 10-yard return, and an injured Viking on the field.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Verizon Football Zone, with live games and highlights right on your phone. Only on VCast from America's most reliable wireless network, Verizon Wireless.
Strong game for Jared Allen so far. One of the most interesting people you'll meet in the NFL. Owns a hunting farm, went on the USO tour. He is a terrific guy, and he'll be hosting tomorrow Lunch with Benefits on FoxSports.com. Rolling out is Favre on first down, throwing, and the pass to Kleinsasser is incomplete. It was out of bounds. Favre with a good throw, but Kleinsasser came down out of bounds. There's Jared Allen again.
You know, you said he owns a hunting club. He owns a wacky hairstyle, too. What's up with that lid that he's got? I got on him about it. I said, what's up with the old school mullet? He goes, it's not a haircut, it's a lifestyle.
There you go. Went to visit the troops in the offseason. Did a great job. There's Adrian Peterson wiggling through the line for a gain up to the 46-yard line. He picked up 6 on the play. Peterson 13 carries, 66 yards. Brett Favre 13 for 27, 153 yards. Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator, we said earlier, his mantra to his players is they can march up down the field, just make sure they don't get more than 3 points.
Yep. Besides the big pop, the touchdown to Sidney Rice, it's been according to plan for his defense today.
Chester Taylor in the backfield with Favre. In motion, Greg Lewis. 3 wide receivers. Favre steps up, throws off the hands of Berrien, intercepted by Shante Spencer. First interception thrown by Brett Favre in the game. Again, a catchable pass went off of Berrien's hands, and Spencer an alert pick.
Bernard Berrien is not having a good day. A couple of drops by Bernard Berrien. This one very costly. Tips and overthrows. That's how you get interceptions, and Shante has one there.
Togetherness is a big factor of the San Francisco 49ers this year.
It is, and they know they're only as strong as their weakest link. They're family now, and they'll tell you, I mean, they really care about the guy that's next to them and lining up next to him. And offense, defense, you can go upstairs in the building. Everybody has got and created a family atmosphere.
Glenn Coffey bounced it outside and gets a pickup of 11 yards on the play. Good run for Glenn Coffey. Give him 12 on first down, his best run.
Another big block for Vernon Davis. Here he is on Jared Allen right on the edge. He's trying to create an edge for Glenn Coffey. And again, is able to lock up just enough. I mean, that's a stalemate, but Vernon very good at holding and getting away with it because Jared Allen could not disengage from the block there to get the edge and get Coffey down.
Coffey's longest run in the NFL. Longest run of the day for the 49ers. Coffey now 13 carries, 36 yards at the Vikings 49. Hill calls timeout. As the clock was running down, I don't know if he had the play, but he was upset and goes to the sideline.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by GMC. Put us up against anyone, and may the best truck win.
118 consecutive sellouts here at the Metrodome. Here are the 49ers at the Minnesota 49. Coffey breaks through again and gets down to the 36-yard line. E.J. Henderson tracked him down. That's back-to-back good runs for Glenn Coffey. 13 on this one.
A couple of good blocks. Right guard Shiloh Ray Shaw does nice work. Here he is here. But watch Moran Norris go hit the linebacker, hit Pat Williams actually. See, he hits Pat Williams and is able to really give that crease to Glenn Coffey, who's seemed to have found his groove a little bit here for the 49ers in their running game.
25 yards on his last 2 carries. Josh Morgan motions. Off the fake. Hill to Morgan. And he's shoved out of bounds at the Minnesota 27-yard line. Hill had a man in his face, but found Josh Morgan.
When you don't have great skill sets, and Shaun Hill doesn't, you have to do all the little things right. Look at this play action, play fake. You've got all the purple jerseys that are going that way, then he just rolls out to the backside. But out in the details and the little things and the situations, he does a lot of things right.
9-3 as a starting quarterback. Gave him 9 on the last play. 2nd and 1. Coffee behind Norris, pushing a couple of people out of the way. He's got a first down at the 25-yard line. Mediu Williams came up to make the tackle, but Glenn Coffee has picked up his game here in the second half, and he got a stern talking to from the head coach in the first half.
Yeah, he did, and they loved him in the preseason. He came in, and Frank Gore didn't do a lot. He was the bell cow. He was right up there in the tops in the NFL for running backs in the preseason, and limited opportunity in the first couple of games, and today he's more opportunity. He's found it. Look, 48 yards through the middle, right through the Williams wall.
Here's Coffee on first down. Ran into E.J. Henderson. The pickup is 3 on the play down to the 22-yard line. Boy, there's some battles up front, Tim.
Yeah, look at the pit. Now, this is the pit. Heitman on the big X there, Pat Williams, and just watch these guys scrum it up in the middle of the offense. He's just battling, and it's a fun matchup to watch. I mean, and again, you got to like what San Francisco's doing in terms of believing they can run right at the strength of the Minnesota defense with success.
2nd and 7. Morgan motions. Coffee, nothing that time. Shoved back. They have lost half a yard on the play. Tough to run in the middle. They keep trying. They keep banging away. That's what the head coach wants. And Minnesota looking to come up with a big defensive stand here. Benny Sapp is in as a 5th defensive back for the Vikings. The crowd noise picks up. Short, caught by Davis, wrestled down by Mediu Williams, short of the first down at the 19-yard line.
Shaun Hill is incredible. Watch this guy, Jared Allen, come over the top. It doesn't matter. Shaun Hill's going to keep his eyes on his tight end, 85. Look at that athleticism. Shaun Hill, doesn't matter to him. Vernon Davis on the out route.
Sets up the field goal try of Joe Nedney. From 37 yards away, Andy Lee is the holder. Nedney is 5 for 5 this season. And the kick is right through. Strong leg by Joe Nedney. The 49ers grab the lead at the end of the first half. They've added to it. It's 17-13.
Give me some. Don't leave me hanging. Oh, you got to love it. You know, I got to tell you, I live out in the San Francisco Bay Area, in the excitement level because of, and everyone knows this isn't a great team yet, but the excitement level for what Mike Singletary is building and the character you see on this football team on the field, the fans are absolutely loving it.
Percy Harvin brings it back from the goal line. He's got some room. Watch out. Percy's going. Percy Harvin is gone. Touchdown Vikings! Yard kickoff return for a touchdown for the rookie from Florida, Percy Harvin.
And it's north and south. You'll see one cut left and then foot in the ground and boom, right down the field, getting good blocks. And when Percy Harvin is running down the middle of the field on the hash marks, there's nobody that's going to catch that first-round pick. He is so talented.
He has a touchdown in each of his first 3 games in the NFL. 2 receiving and now 1 on the kickoff return. And the Vikings are back in the lead. This is a wild play.
Yeah, if you can't get a guy like Percy Harvin to move sideways, east and west, you better forget about it. Not a lot of movement once he got to the middle of the field. It was turn on the afterburners and enjoy the run to the end zone.
And if the Vikings ever needed a lift, there it was. Percy Harvin. It was almost as if Brad Childress recruited him. When he thought about the draft, Brad Childress said that Percy Harvin might be falling to us. He went down to Florida, visited with Florida's head coach, Urban Meyer, to talk about him, visited with his mom, his stepdad, his grandma.
And got all the real info from
right.
Grandma. You know, Brad said it. He wanted to see what he was buying. And he was obviously satisfied with all the answers he got from the coaches and the family members of Percy Harvin. And he said the first day Percy showed up at the minicamp, it was almost deja vu in terms of his feeling. That being Brad Childress, said it was just like when Adrian Peterson got here the first day. It was like a couple of plays. He looked at his staff, they looked at him, and he said, wow.
Well, he has lit things up, and the Vikings are back in front, 20-17. Ryan Longwell kicks it off. Allen Rawson, 4 yards deep, drops the ball, takes a knee for a touchback. Don't forget, weekdays, make lunchtime your new prime time. FoxSports.com brings you lunch with benefits. Log on, check out some of the new programs we've got, original sports shows. Monday, it's normally Jane Glazer, Jewish holiday tomorrow, and Jared Allen will be the guest host for the after party. Tuesday, it's Coach Speak with Brian Billick, and this Wednesday, a live chat with Troy Aikman. You'll love it. Log on to FoxSports.com.
And guess who's joining Coach Billick on Tuesday?
That is
Mike Singletary for a little Coach Speak.
That'll be good. 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Log on to FoxSports.com. Shaun Hill, pressure. Finally finds Vernon Davis. A great catch by Davis. Flag on the play on the far side. Davis, with a great effort, is up to the 36-yard line.
You get the feeling that Shaun Hill's pocket presence is improving every week? Because I do.
Well, he's certainly calm back there. He doesn't panic at all.
Illegal contact, defense, number 23. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
16-yard pickup. Cedric Griffin, the man who had the illegal contact.
Here's a good example of his pocket presence because the pressure's coming from his right. He doesn't see it, but he feels it. Steps up just enough to where he can elude Ray Edwards and then delivers the football to Vernon Davis for a first down.
Give him 17 yards on the play. Davis and Delaney Walker are on. 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts, and Glenn Coffey, the running back. Coffey, nothing there. Boy, the Vikings stuffed the middle that time, led by Fred Evans. Here's Vernon Davis, who does it all. He blocks and he catches passes.
It's been a very good afternoon for him at the point of attack and the few good runs they've had. He gets a blow-up block right there on the Josh Morgan catch, and then the touchdown. 2 guys on him. Real nice strike from the quarterback, but Vernon Davis has had a major impact in this football game today.
2nd and 10. Long count. Guys jumping across the line. Flags fly. Let's see who's at fault here. Going to be offside on the Vikings.
Encroachment, defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That's Fred Evans. 49ers have Tony Pashos, number 77, in at right tackle. They've been alternating and rotating Adam Snyder and Tony Pashos on the right side, looking for someone to step up and step out as a number 1.
Real good signing, getting Pashos. He was released by the Jacksonville Jaguars at the end of camp. The guys logged a bunch of starts, and you said it. They're trying to figure out who the more consistent player is before they decide on the guy who's going to be the full-time starter between he and Adam Snyder.
6 penalties on the Vikings in the game. Again, 2 tight ends. Moran Norris is in as a fullback. Hill hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Ray Edwards bursting in from the left end position. Was all over Shaun Hill. Flag goes down. They wanted intentional grounding. They got it.
Offense, number 13. The ball replaced at the spot of foul. Lost it down. 3rd down.
He's got no chance, Shaun Hill. He doesn't even get to his back foot, and the pressure is right in his face. And and there's nobody even close. Now, if he's out of the pocket, he can throw that, but in the pocket, and there's not a receiver in the near vicinity, it's an easy call for Jerome Boger with the assist from Brad Childress.
Brad Childress was all over that play. All he needed was a striped shirt and a yellow flag.
We got to come in here. We got to come.
And the killer about intentional grounding, and it's one of the few penalties where it's a loss of down.
Right.
Not only do you get the yards, the negative yards, but you lose the down as well.
Ball spotted at the 32-yard line. Michael Robinson is in the backfield along with Glenn Coffey. 49ers have not converted a third down in the game. They have converted one fourth down. Everybody out. Hill going short. Michael Robinson brought down at the 40-yard line. Short of the first down, and the 49ers will be forced to punt. E.J. Henderson and Chad Greenway combining on the tackle. And Bernard Berrien is back deep. Darius Reynaud, who was hurt on the last return, suffered a leg injury and doesn't look like he'll be back. Seventh punt of the game for Andy Lee. Berrien at the 5. Looking for an opening. Flag on the play. Berrien brought down as across the 15. Another flag comes in. 55-yard punt by Andy Lee, who's had a big game for San Francisco.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 37. Half the distance to the goal line. Minnesota keeps the ball. First down.
Eric Frampton, the man called for the hold.
And to lock up with Terrell Brown, that's exactly what he does. He locks up.
Didn't let go.
It's an easy one for the side judge to see out there on the perimeter, on the flank of it.
So now the Vikings with the lead late in the third quarter will start deep in their own territory.
Go 7.
Vikings with a punt and an interception thus far on 2 offensive possessions. Last time they got the ball was the 101-yard kickoff return by Percy Harvin. From the 7. Peterson gets up close to the 10-yard line. Isaac Sopoaga, number 90, and on the tackle for San Francisco. We put together a good front with Abrea Franklin, Isaac Sopoaga, Justin Smith, backed up with Ray McDonald and Kentwan Balmer.
And I think the 49ers staying in the 3-4 defense this offseason was a positive thing for them. You know, Mike Singletary's history is a 4-3 guy. Right. He's a great player in a 4-3 defense, and I think part of them wanted to go back to that, but they didn't.
Peterson trying to take it outside. 49ers there. Sopoaga again as he got to the 10-yard line. And Manny Lawson was there. Manny Lawson stepping up this season, a former first-rounder in 06. He's improved his game.
And I think it's because of guys like Manny Lawson and Paris Harrelson, and in particular Abrea Franklin. When you look at their skill sets as defenders, they are better off running the 3-4. I asked Greg Minuski about it. I said, how long did that conversation take place in the offseason between staying in the 3-4 and going to a 4-3? He said about 2 minutes. Didn't take a lot to convince Coach Singletary that we'd be better off in the 3-man front.
They have to get to the 17 for a first down. Chester Taylor in the backfield with Brett Favre. And a flag. And it's delay of game. Second time that's happened.
Delay of game. Offense. Half the distance to the goal. Third down.
And the ball back just inside the 5-yard line. Right now things have not been loud. I don't know if there's been some confusion on the plays. You know, Brett is still adjusting and learning.
Been here a long time. Let's remember that.
3 wide receivers out of the shotgun. Clark steps up. Complete to Berrien. A great gravity breaks away. Bernard Berrien wrapped up by Dre Bly at the 40-yard line. That time Berrien came up big. He's dropped a couple in the game. That time a good grab, good moves, 36-yard pickup to the 40-yard line.
Watch Brett Favre just step up in the pocket out of his own end zone and just deliver a dart on this deep in route. You know how much velocity that football has on it. I guarantee you, every one of those defenders could hear it whistling at him as it was going into the hands of Bernard Berrien. Man coverage on Shante Spencer, and Favre absolutely delivers a perfect throw. Now he's going to go try to deliver a block. Easy, Brett.
Yeah. He was wondering about preseason when he had the block that cost him $10,000. That's Dre Bly, who's down on the play and being checked out. Brett to the sideline. 14 for 29, 189 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Bly limps off. Here's Favre after the catch by Berrien. He's down the field throwing a block on Patrick Willis. We'll figure that one out.
Yeah, well, it's time to critique the 19-year pro when we get into the tape room if you're Brad Childress. Enough of that.
He can't control himself. Brett cannot control himself. He gets into the heat of battle and he goes.
You love it because he loves football. He's got such a passion, and that's why he's still playing. It's not about the money. It's not about trying to stick it to the Green Bay Packers.
It's about winning.
It's about winning and playing football, and the guy loves the game.
End of the third quarter in the Metrodome. The Vikings lead the 49ers 20-17. Start of the fourth quarter of the Metrodome. The Vikings on first down. Adrian Peterson slowed down, breaks a tackle, and using his power gets a first down inside 49ers territory at the 49-yard line. Go back to that Brett play. Here's the respect he gets.
Yeah, Patrick Willis, he tries to blow Patrick up with a block. Then Patrick helps him up. His jersey's over his shoulder pad. Now the back judge is going to help him out with that, Tony Sterator. Brett has been so great for the National Football League, and he gets a lot of love and a lot of respect out there, even from his opponents and the officials.
Peterson and Tahi in the backfield, and motion Shenko with 2 tight ends in. Peterson tried to cut it back. Manny Lawson was there. He gets down to the 45. Let's check out Jacksonville and Houston. Let's go to Kurt Manafay.
And a good day if you've got Maurice Jones-Drew in your fantasy league. This is his 3rd rushing touchdown of the day. He's over 100 yards as well. And that one gave the Jaguars a lead, 31-24 in the fourth quarter. Sam, Tim, and Michelle.
Thanks, Kurt. That's been a back-and-forth game, with each team leading a couple of times. Chester Taylor in the backfield, 2 tight ends in on second down. Taylor gets up to down to the 42-yard line. What a game we've had here. Early in the game, San Francisco had trouble offensively. They lost Frank Gore on his first carry to an ankle sprain. Minnesota was dominating, got up 10-0, and then suddenly the game started to turn around. A couple of big plays, a big 4th-and-1 conversion by the 49ers, a touchdown pass to Vernon Davis, and then a blocked field goal at the end of the half.
Well, that was the one, the big momentum changer, as Ray McDonald blew through the middle of the line right by Phil Lodeholt to block it, and Nate Clements picked it up and took it to the house for 6 points.
There's 3rd and 4 with the Vikings leading by 3 points. The pass through the hands of Percy Harvin. So Harvin, who had the big kickoff return for a touchdown to give the Vikings the lead again, drops that pass, which could have gone for a first down.
And clearly they're not used to the velocity and the firepower and the punch that Brett Favre is delivering that football with. Thing again was a missile right through the hands of Percy Harvin, but as you saw it, Brett again read the blitz perfectly and delivered the football to the right guy.
5th punt of the game for Chris Kluwe. Back deep to Tyler Rawson. Kluwe sending it high. Rawson watches it go, and it goes into the end zone for a touchback. 42-yard punt, but it only nets 22 yards. 49ers start from the 20-yard line. Nice day in Minneapolis. Good game in the Dome.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Windows, Life Without Walls. by the Ford F-150. It's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. And by Budweiser American Ale. Discover the robust flavor of Budweiser American Ale.
The defensive coordinator on the right for the Vikings is Leslie Frazier, the head coach of the 49ers, Mike Singletary, closest of friends, like brothers. They talk every week. They texted each other early in the week, and that's all. But they have been close since they were rookies together with the Chicago Bears back in the 80s and won a Super Bowl together. Shaun Hill on first down. The catch made by Isaac Bruce, his first of the game, as he gets up to the 30-yard line. There are the teammates. The linebacker, Singletary. The defensive back, Leslie Frazier. And then, of course, after the Super Bowl win, who's leading the dancing?
Samurai.
Super Bowl
There's
shuffle.
Frazier, number 21. Leslie said, I don't know, man. I don't know if I get it or not. Mike said he was so quiet, but he said inside that guy, there is certainly a rage when it comes to football and how he likes to call up his defenses.
Great respect and love for one another. When Coffey, slipping a tackle, gets about a yard on the play. That's Tyrell Johnson, the strong safety, coming up to make the stop.
They've been run blitzing all day. You're going to see E.J. Henderson here. He's going to get up inside Greenway. And that's what gets Glenn Coffey stopped and then has to get started again so Tyrell Johnson could get in there. I mean, they're not going to sit back and wait. Very active in how they use their linebackers and penetrating the line of scrimmage.
Michael Robinson lines up as a fullback in the backfield. Hill with time. Deep for Vernon Davis. And he holds on. A beautiful catch by Vernon Davis down to the Vikings' 38-yard line.
In the zone, and he's just going to go right by Tyrell Johnson. Nice throw by Shaun Hill. Just split the safety and the corner. Cedric Griffin, and Vernon goes up and gets it, takes the hit, and comes down with it.
Remember week 1 on the road when the 49ers needed a drive against Arizona, and Shaun Hill led them on an 80-yard drive to win the game in the fourth quarter. And here, starting from the 20.
He's made some real good throws with a lot of pressure in his face today.
First down at the Vikings 38. Off the play fake. Hill has a man. Isaac Bruce makes a nice cut. Isaac Bruce down inside the 10-yard line. He beats Cedric Griffin on the play, a pickup of 28.
Well, there's not a better route runner in the game, and here he is coming out of the slot. He's going to come down inside and then just plant his left foot and take it right to the sideline. Shaun Hill has been so impressive this half, and you know what he calls Isaac Bruce, and Isaac's going straight to the Hall of Fame. He calls him Mr. Reliable. When he's in a pinch, he throws it to number 88.
Picked up 31 on the pass to Davis, 28 on the pass to Bruce. First and goal at the 10. Barry Sims in at left tackle, replacing Joe Staley for San Francisco. Hill to the end zone, intercepted by E.J. Henderson. There's a flag down.
They're going to get delay of game. You're absolutely right.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
So the play never happened.
Huge break here for San Francisco. Clearly a delay of game. The whistle blows. So Shaun Hill unloads it. Interception to no avail for E.J. Henderson. Big break for the 49ers.
Now, some people might be wondering, can they decline the penalty? No, that stops the play. There was no play, and it sets the 49ers back for the 15, first and goal. Coffey, nothing there, except Vikings to shut him down. Second and goal at the 15. And Mike Singletary stepping onto the field with some signals. And David Bass gets up slowly. Joe Staley, we're trying to get word on him. Staley has gone out of the game, replaced by Barry Sims, number 65. Bass stays in there. Second and goal. Coffey and Robinson in the backfield. Hill pressured, and they stop the play. False start against San Francisco.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
That one, I think, is noise related.
And it's the Jared Allen effect, too. I mean, Jared has been beating these tackles off the snap count with penetration all day long.
Tony Raggi is in at left guard, so the whole left side of the offensive line has changed. Staley and Boss out, and Raggi and Sims in. Sims at left tackle, Raggi at left guard. Second and goal from the 20-yard line. Hill to the end zone for Davis. Touchdown! What a combination. Hill and Davis. And the 49ers have the lead again. Hill again, a terrific throw, and Vernon Davis just bursting up the seam.
They can't run with him. They had 3 guys trying to defend him, and no moves, just went straight by him. I got to tell you, Shaun Hill is out of his mind this second half. Mike Singletary said he really wanted to see his quarterback take a big step forward. He said, when you're ready, I'm ready to see you take that step. He's taking a big step today.
An 80-yard touchdown drive. Shaun Hill has done it again. The 49ers come back in front, 24-20. Vernon Davis, his second touchdown of the game.
Here's the touchdown. Couple things. E.J. Henderson late getting over the top, but look at Vernon Davis just split the safeties once he goes by E.J. Henderson, and Shaun Hill just feathers it in there for an absolutely perfect throw.
6 catches, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns for Vernon Davis, his first 2-touchdown game in his NFL career. Here's Percy Harvin from the 3. 49ers have it covered this time as they bring him down at the 22-yard line. Shaun Hill after the touchdown pass. Nice moment. Coach and quarterback.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Burger King. Have it your way.
Vernon Davis with a big
What a
game.
day. What a day.
And besides that, we showed you earlier the blocking that he does in the run game.
You know where he was on Tuesday, his day off this week?
No.
He was at the facility catching balls. It's paying off.
That's work from the 22-yard line. Brett Favre now has to bring his Vikings back. Peterson in the backfield. Adrian Peterson trying to find the hole. Couple of yards on the pickup. Well, upcoming next weekend, final weekend of the regular season. And we've got baseball for you on Fox on Saturday. Any game that has playoff implications will be there for you to check it out. Might be the Twins in Kansas City. Might be the Tigers. Check your local listings.
What's your magic number for the Yankees?
1 to clinch the division and get home field advantage in the playoffs. Back-to-back wins over the Red Sox yesterday on Fox. Vikings down by 4. They've got to go all the way. Peterson trying to get outside. Lawson did a great job standing up to tight end Dugan and stopping that play from getting outside.
And that's why the 3-4 is effective against this type of running game. You build a wall with the line in front. Watch him take Jim Kleinsasser and gives no edge to, it's Dugan who tries to block him. No edge right there. Forces the run to stall, try to run back, and you got all of those defenders that are staying square to the line of scrimmage in pursuit. Not one running lane there because of really what Manny Lawson did. It's setting the edge.
6 defensive backs in for the 49ers as Dre Bly and Mark Roman come in on 3rd and 9. Big play for the Vikings. 4 wide receivers. Everybody out. The safety valve is Chester Taylor trying to beat Lewis. Michael Lewis takes him down. Short of the first down. Good defensive series for the 49ers as they force a punt and the fans are upset. Adrian Peterson started good early with the big 35-yard run in the first quarter. Then he's been kept under control for the game. 19 carries, 85 yards. Sixth punt of the game for Chris Kluwe. Alan Rawson deep for the 49ers. Good high punt. Rawson backpedals to the 22. Trying to pick up a couple of blocks. Can't get outside. Lieber slows him down. He does make a turn, and he's out of bounds. Did well to get back across the 25 to the 27. 52-yard punt, 5-yard return. 49ers with a lead in the ball. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Nichelle Turner here at the Metrodome with the 49ers leading. They start from the 27. Glenn Coffey tripped up. Loss of a couple on the play. Good play by Kevin Williams busting through.
And this is where you'd love to have that running game and be able to chew up the clock and play keep away and have Frank Gore out there. And the offensive line, Kevin Williams just blew it up that time. We talked about being able to block those two guys in the middle. There have been reasonable success on a couple of plays, but for the most part, that front for Minnesota, the penetration has stuffed the running game most of the afternoon.
Shaun Hill has been effective when he's needed to be. He's 14 for 23, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns in the game. The toss almost dropped by Coffey. He's thrown for a loss. Back to the 20. He almost fumbled the ball. Ray Edwards in to make the tackle, and the 49ers going backwards on this possession. We'll have a 3rd and 17.
Look at the penetration by both guys. When you're pulling, and San Francisco does a lot of that, down blocking and pulling, you can get off the football and be great off the snap and get penetration. You're going to kill it, and they've done it.
49ers have not converted a 3rd down in the game, 0 for 9. Players urging the fans on.
Let's see if he goes to Mr. Reliable.
Hill being rushed by Jared Allen. Gets rid of it to Vernon Davis. And Davis gets up to the 27, maybe the 28-yard line. But the 49ers 3 and out, forced to punt. Their 6th 3 and out of the game. So that was a big defensive series for the Vikings. They will get the clock back. They will get the ball back with plenty of time on the clock. 9th punt of the game for Andy Lee. Bernard Berrien is back at around his own 15-yard line to receive. Good punt by Lee. Berrien at the 23. Is brought down. We welcome those of you who've been watching the Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Giants going to 3-0 with a win in Tampa. Sam Rosen, Tim Ryan, Nichelle Turner here at the Metrodome in Minneapolis in a really hard-fought game where the Vikings led early, 10-0. The 49ers scored a touchdown in the second quarter, and at the end of the first half, got a blocked field goal return for a touchdown that turned this game around.
Unbelievably gutty performance for the San Francisco 49ers. They lose Frank Gore on their first run from scrimmage in the first quarter. The running game hasn't been there, but Shaun Hill has made some terrific plays, and this defense for the most part has been outstanding.
Brett Favre leading the Vikings from the 27, rolling and looking. Going short to Chester Taylor. Slips one man, hit down hard by Manny Lawson at the 33-yard line. For the game, the total yardage was one-sided. It's closed up after the 49ers had an 80-yard drive here in the fourth quarter to take the lead. 3rd down conversions, 49ers haven't been good, but they had one big 4th down conversion. The Vikings have had 2 touchdown passes from Brett Favre, but he's thrown 1 interception, and the Vikings got a 101-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Percy Harvin. On 2nd down, Favre throws, completes it. Bernard Berrien up to the 48-yard line. It's a 1st down. This was the touchdown, the first touchdown for Vernon Davis that cut the lead to 10-7. There's the blocked field goal try Nate Clements picks it up, returns it 59 yards for a touchdown. Then the touchdown pass to Vernon Davis here in the fourth quarter, and the 49ers have regained the lead, 24-20. 49ers call a timeout.
San Francisco, this would be a
Vikings have all 3 timeouts remaining. 49ers have 1. For the Vikings, look at this pass from Brett Favre to Sidney Rice, a beauty for a touchdown to take the lead. This was Percy Harvin to give the Vikings the lead. A 101-yard kickoff return for the rookie from Florida.
That's the only touchdown in the second half for Minnesota. And you look at Brett Favre and what he's done there with the game-winning or tying drives in the fourth quarter, most among active players. But I'll tell you what they've done to Favre. It's really about halfway through the second quarter. They stopped blitzing him. He was killing them when they were trying to blitz. He was diagnosing it and finding the open receiver. They've since called off the dogs, have rushed 4. And Brett's passing numbers haven't been the same since.
Favre, 17 for 33, 212 yards, 1 touchdown pass, 1 interception. 3 wide receivers for Minnesota. Off the play fake. Favre, nobody open. He throws, and it's complete to Sidney Rice. I thought Favre might have been across the line of scrimmage.
He was very, very close. The San Francisco coaches are over there on the line of scrimmage telling the officials they're going to be surprised. They may challenge this. We'll see if Mike pulls out his flag.
And the 49er coaching staff, and they do throw the flag because the Vikings were in the hurry-up offense. Let's see, where's the release? It looked to me like he was across the line of scrimmage.
Me too, and it's where the ball is when he releases it, but it did look like he was from that angle.
Staff is challenging where the quarterback was beyond the line of scrimmage when the forward pass was thrown.
That will be reviewed on the challenge. Watch the ball. Where is the ball in relationship to the line of scrimmage?
It appears that it's past the line when it comes out of his hand. That's a great challenge by Mike Singletary, and I would think if they see it, Jerome Boger, like we see it, this one's coming back.
Brad Childress checking his chart as he gets set, hoping to drive his team in for a winning score. Jerome Boger will check out the replay.
Blue line is the line of scrimmage, still in his hand. The whole body's past the line of scrimmage. And then clearly the ball, as it releases out of his hand, also past the line of scrimmage. This one's coming back.
And as always, with video reviews, the referee must see conclusive evidence to overturn the call on the field. There was no call on the field. There was no flag. So in their opinion, it was a good play. Mike Singletary and his coaching staff jumped on it right away.
Jim Tomsula, the D-line coach, was right in the hip pocket of Mike Singletary. Let's get that red flag out.
The ball right now is at the San Francisco 26-yard line.
Here's Jim Tomsula, coach. It's right there, coach.
Yeah.
If you want to throw it, listen to your guys upstairs. They'll let you know. They're trying to get the play off. Get it out, Mike.
Look at the vote. All the
there
coaches.
It is.
It was unanimous.
I told you, they're family. Look at them. They're all working together. Here it is, coach. It's right here.
There it is. Jim, nice job. That's it.
Throw it.
Because
oh,
they
Mike,
were
that
worried
didn't look
because
good. We see the left hand?
Yeah.
It didn't look good, coach.
See, the Vikings were hurrying up to the line of scrimmage. They wanted to get another playoff. Here it is.
After reviewing the play, it is an illegal forward pass by the offense. We're going to penalize 5 yards from the 49-yard line to the 44-yard line. Loss of down, second down. Second down and 14 from the Minnesota 44.
So the big gain is wiped out and a loss of down as well. So the good challenge for San Francisco puts the ball back to the Vikings 44.
Kind of a turn of fortunes for Minnesota. I mean, the first 2 games, slow starts, big finishes. So far in this game, it was a relatively fast start, And other than the kick return for a touchdown, not much offensively since then.
And 9 penalties in the game for the Vikings. 3 wide receivers in. They have to get to the San Francisco 42 for a first down on 2nd and 15. The blitz on from Dre Bly. The screen to Peterson. Gets into 49ers territory and is wrestled down at the 47-yard line. 1:58 remaining. We've reached the 2-minute warning following the game. It's the AT&T post-game show with scores and highlights and interviews and a whole lot more. One of these teams will be 3-0 at the end of the day and be tied for the best record in the NFL. Vikings home opener after 2 road wins. 49ers winning 1 on the road and last week at home. Big 3rd down play. Favre throwing outside, missed Bernard Berrien. They have not been in sync most of the game. Berrien has made a couple of catches, dropped a couple, and a couple have been thrown wide. Next week, it's a big Fox NFL doubleheader on Sunday. Giants at Kansas City, Lions and Bears, Seattle and Indianapolis. Second game, Dallas at Denver. The Rams will be at San Francisco. It all begins with the Ford Drive 1 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. Here's 4th and 5. Vikings have to go for it. They need a touchdown. They're down by 4. Favre throwing, and it is almost intercepted. Dre Bly dropped it, but he broke up the play, and the ball goes over to San Francisco on downs. That throw lacked a little zip. I thought he could have thrown that better.
Well, I think it was late coming out. He's trying to get it to Percy Harvin on an out route. Dre Bly in just perfect coverage. And clearly that ball was late. And Dre Bly tries to undercut it. Minnesota lucky Dre didn't take that one to the house, intercept it, and take it into the end zone for 6 points.
The San Francisco 49ers.
What an unbelievably gutty performance in terms of the adversity. To lose, this is a running football team that lost their all-star running back on his first rush.
And Shaun Hill continues to come up with big plays when they need him.
The adversity has not been able to break them so far.
Glenn Coffey, the rookie from Alabama, is stopped at the 49. Vikings use 1 of their 3 timeouts. Today's game is produced by Mike Burks, directed by Sandy Grossman, Associate Director Tom Yohe, Broadcast Associate Eric Mandia, the technical producer Frank Phillips, pregame show produced by Scott Ackerson, directed by Bob Levy, senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Our spotter in the booth is always Gary Lynn, and our statistician, the one and only Emmett McGuire.
Mike Singletary told us yesterday, I'm going to find out a lot about my team tomorrow in a hostile environment against a very good football team. And if we can make a statement, if we can take a step forward, and win or lose, and if they can hold on, it'll be outstanding. He's learned a heck of a lot about his team, that they've got thick skin and they're unbelievably resilient.
2nd and 8. Morgan in motion. Protecting the ball, Glenn Coffey gets a couple of yards into Vikings territory and another Minnesota timeout. The Detroit Lions are leading at home 19-14, trying to break a 19-game losing streak, leading Washington. Just over 2 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. And you'll see all the things you need to know about that game, the highlights, and all the information on that one on the AT&T post-game show.
Mike Singletary talking about finding out a lot about his team. I think he's found out a lot about his quarterback. Right? Just amazed at Shaun Hill and some of the plays that he made today. And again, being a running team and putting an emphasis on the run game. And Shaun Hill, with pressure in his face most of the day, has been really terrific at the biggest moments.
And just as he did in game 1 against Arizona, he led his team on a big 4th quarter drive, 80 yards for a go-ahead touchdown. 49ers need a first down to put the game away. Coffey Brought down at the 47-yard line. 49ers forced to punt. The Vikings will get it back. They've used their last timeout. Nervous moments on the 49ers sideline.
Nervous moments on the Vikings sideline. And I think talking to the 49ers, and I think they said it right, the pressure has been on this Minnesota football team in terms of what the expectations are and being a complete football team, where they are, the addition of Favre. San Francisco has given them every bit and more in this matchup today.
Brett Favre, 18 for 36, 221 yards. It's been a mixed bag for him today. He's thrown some good balls. Beautiful touchdown pass to Sidney Rice. Bernard Berrien is deep. Darius Raynaud, their #1 punt return man, went out with an injury. Berrien standing inside the 10. Andy Lee has been terrific punting for San Francisco. Tries to drop this one inside the 10. It bounces into the end zone for a touchback. So the Vikings have to go 80 yards. They have no timeouts remaining. 47-yard punt, 27-yard net.
And watch him try to pooch this. Andy Lee, he almost drops it. He's trying to get it pointed nose down. It slips out of his hand a little bit there, and fortunate to get it off, and it didn't do what he wanted it to do. Did not have the tour juice that he wanted, Sam, down inside the 5 with the backspin.
So here come the Vikings. With 3 wide receivers. Asante Shenko, the tight end, and Chester Taylor make that Adrian Peterson in the backfield. Everybody out. Favre throws and completes it to Shenko, the tight end, at the 31-yard line. Clock running. And the Vikings can't stop it. From the 32. Favre feels some pressure. Outside, Sidney Rice with a grab and out of bounds at the 41-yard line. It's short of a first down, but a good pickup, and it stops the clock with 1:05.
And if the 49ers are going to give that big cushion, which you call free access to the wide receivers, which means defensively not a lot of pressure on the wide receivers, they're getting in the back pedal and leaving a big cushion. Brett Favre will hit those 8, 9, 10-yard out routes down the sideline all day.
Again, they stick with 3 wide receivers and Adrian Peterson. Everybody out. Favre, he had a wide open man, but he missed Asante Shenko. 49ers playing the safeties way back in deep coverage. Mark Roman stepped up and had a shot at it.
Interesting, because I think one trend in the league this year is teams are not playing prevent defense. They're still heating up the quarterbacks and trying to get to them. Not in this game, as Ray McDonald gets a nice hit there on Favre, but here late, just this drive, it has been prevent defense. San Francisco not wanting to make a big mistake, keeping everything in front of them and rallying up to make the tackle.
This is 3rd and 1 with a minute to go. Favre looking, finds someone short, and that's Percy Harvin.
That's a rookie mistake. Percy Harvin, I know it's a first down, but you got to turn and try to get to the sideline.
Harvin with his speed looking to make a play. Favre wants to get everybody set and spike it, and he does. And the clock stops with 40 seconds. And the Vikings still 54 yards away. Brad Childress. And the defensive man, Mike Singletary, and Greg Minuski is coordinator. 49ers have played well defensively this season. 2nd and 10. 3-man rush. Favre has time. He's going deep. Way downfield for Sidney Rice. He's out of bounds. He caught it, but he was out of bounds. They gave him plenty of room. And now 33 seconds remaining.
Brett Favre has done a nice job, albeit he's had some pressure in his face, but he's done a nice job of getting the ball down the field today. Coming in, it was all underneath passing game in the first 2 weeks. Not a whole bunch of opportunities to hit a big strike, but when he's had them, he's taken advantage of it.
And again, the Vikings with 3 wideouts. Adrian Peterson with great speed. Everybody out. Favre throws back over the middle and completes it to Percy Harvin. He's got a first down.
Got to clock it again.
Clock running with 20 seconds. They've got to get lined up and spike it.
Time more important than downs. Got to clock it.
And they stop the clock with 16 seconds. And the Vikings are 39 yards away. 4-point 49ers lead. Early in the game, it looked like Minnesota would blow out the 49ers. First 4 times San Francisco had the ball, they went 3 and out. Things turn. Shaun Hill made a couple of big plays, converted a 4th and 1. And a big field goal block for the 49ers. Turned into a touchdown. Chester Taylor in the backfield. Quickly outside Bernard Berrian. Trying to get to the sideline. He does. Gets out of bounds at the 32. Short of a first down. 12 seconds remaining. 32 yards away. 4 wide receivers come on for the Vikings. Don't forget, coming up next, it's the AT&T postgame show with scores, highlights, and a lot more.
This has been a battle, hasn't it? This game has certainly lived up to the hype here in Minnesota today.
Greg Lewis in as a 4th wide receiver. Chester Taylor in the backfield. Everybody out. Favre rolls. Wants to throw deep and does. To the end zone for Greg Lewis. Touchdown! Touchdown! Favre did it! This will be reviewed upstairs, but the ruling on the field is Greg Lewis came down, both feet in, and held on to the football.
What a play by Brett Favre. Buying time, delivers this ball. Let's watch the end line. Left foot right inside the line. He did drag his toe. Did you see the little rubber particles bounce up off the field turf? This is going to be a touchdown. I mean, look at that throw. Left foot down, now watch the right toe drag right there. That's a touchdown. Oh my goodness. That's why you get Brett Favre on your football team. What a play by the quarterback. And again, a terrific catch, and Greg Lewis in the game. They had an injury to Renaud. Greg Lewis gets out there and comes up with the play of the game. But you have a quarterback that's almost 40 years old extending plays and throwing a perfect pass for the win.
80 yards with no timeouts. And did he gun that last one? And Greg Lewis, who came on as the 4th wide receiver, has played very little in the game, goes up and makes a fantastic catch.
That's why you get veterans like Greg Lewis on your football team. When you got to get them in the game because of an injury, they know what to do in the big spots.
The all-star
Look at his
back.
feet. Look at his feet. Left foot just inside, drags the right toe. Oh, man, you feel so bad for San Francisco because the effort they put up. You got to wonder, did he have full control now all the way past the ground? I think that's the next thing that they're looking at upstairs.
Brett Favre hitting Greg Lewis in a dramatic, stunning play with 2 seconds remaining in the game. And right now being reviewed by the officials upstairs. And being sent down with the referee, Jerome Boger, having looked at it under the hood downstairs.
Sam,
Here's the official announcement.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field stands. Touchdown.
Boy, what a game. What a game.
thrown for 301 yards. That's the first 300-yard passing game in the last 64 games for the Vikings, dating back to
You think it's important to him? Look at this. He's been doing that, taking hits all day, and just extends the play with his 40-year-old legs and throws what's going to look like the game winner.
24 for 46, 301 yards.
You think it's important to him?
Mike Singletary, he'll take the positives out of this game, but what a stunning turn of events. And the packed house here in the Metrodome just going wild. 10 plays, 80 yards in a minute 27 with no timeouts, and a 32-yard touchdown pass to Greg Lewis to win it for the Minnesota Vikings. 2 seconds remaining on the clock. All the years he came in here as a visiting quarterback, 16 games with the Packers, and in his first home game with the Vikings.
Are you kidding me? His first home game, one for the ages, that final drive and that final throw.
Here's the short pooch kick by Longwell. Fair catch called for. 49ers will get one play. They'll have one play. Can Shaun Hill perform a miracle? He's got one play to do it.
Well, get ready for the hook and lateral, because clearly where they are, he can't throw the Hail Mary deep into the end zone. They're going to have to get a little razzle-dazzle pitching the ball backwards here, I think.
Vikings have 2 players 60 yards back. The Vikings with a 27-24 lead. And here's the last play. 2 safeties are backed up to their own 20-yard line for the Vikings. Hill being rushed. Gets it off for Vernon Davis, and he dropped it. And the game is over. Vikings win it. They're 3-0. The Minnesota Vikings, with a last-second comeback touchdown pass, defeat the 49ers. Minnesota Vikings are 3-0, and the 49ers are 2-1. And now let's take a look at our Domino's leaderboard. Brett Favre passing for 301 yards. First time a Vikings quarterback has done that since 2005. Adrian Peterson, 85 yards. Vernon Davis for San Francisco, 7 catches, 2 touchdowns. Brett Favre was 6 for 10 for 80 yards on the winning touchdown drive. Vikings win it with 2 seconds to go by the score of 27-24. Coming up next, it's the AT&T post-game show. All the guys are standing by with scores and highlights. The Detroit Lions won today. Vikings won.